Hey guys, welcome back to another Old World Fanatics faction focus, and this time it is myself, Gommo, with ASB, or Angus as some people call him. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. I had to drag some other people in because the other two are busy by the sound of it. Josh and Andrew aren't around, so we've got to keep these faction focuses moving forward. So no, not doing too bad. You've just had a new addition to your family, though, haven't you?
I have a couple of alter egos. You know, you've got the Angel, and then you've got El Diablo, which
Yeah.
is Spanish for devil, for those that are not familiar. I now have a nearly 4-week-old daughter who has just started going through her first screaming phase.
Yeah. Oh, I remember those times. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I don't over. It's a great time, but I also don't envy you in your position, considering I'm a bit past all that now, which has been good. So you'll love it, mate. But thanks so much as a result for actually taking some time. I know it's really hard, and you have to. Pass it. What is it? Get a pass from the boss and stuff to do this sort of stuff. And the old world's out, and I bet you're like, oh, I want to spend all the time doing that. So,
Well, it was
no,
funny you mentioned that because I was actually, when you said I had a new edition, I was like, oh, she might be listening. I was like, yeah, I got the Old World books.
yeah. That's right. Cool. Awesome. So we're going to do Empire because we've been going through our fourth now, I think. And I started to think about people who, might actually be more knowledgeable than us. Obviously, I played Empire in eighth, but I'm never, I'm a mid-table dweller, as I like to say, not someone who's had some success in the wargaming games, like playing in Australia here at least. So it's always good. I know you were. You've started on Empire for Old World pretty much. You've sent me a few lists. So is
Yeah.
that going to be your focus or?
Yeah. So I kind of, towards the end of 7th edition, so we're talking 2009, I bought, maybe it was 2010, because 8th edition came out, July or mid-June 2010. So I'd been thinking about an Empire army for some time then. And I bought, so I can't remember. It wasn't a battalion. It might have been called a brigade. So it was different to the Empire Battalion. It came with 40 state troops, 20 state missile troops, as they're called in. They might have even called that in 8th edition, actually. What else? 10 great swords, the plastic ones, 8 Empire Knights, and a cannon. And I bought that, and then a couple of characters. And then 8th edition came out, and I went through, that sort of, I guess, break phase from the hobby for nearly 10 years. And so I built back. Oh, sorry, I had some pistoliers as well. And I bought an extra box of pistoliers. So I started the army then, and I built 20 swordsmen, and I built, what else? 5 pistoliers, basically. And I'd stuck 2 metal characters. I got the, I don't know if you remember, there was the special edition Empire Captain that had the orc's head at his feet.
Yeah.
Wiping the blood off the sword. I bought him.
Awesome. Yep.
And I bought the warrior priest with the great weapon because I love that model. It's one of my favorite models. And then, it all sort of got packed away. And then when I started playing 9th age, I was going to play Empire. We'll start building Empire. And then I started adding more and more stuff. It's always been an army that's resonated. I've got the 6th edition book, the 7th edition book, the 8th edition book. I've now that it's out, it kind of was all right timing because I was on annual leave for 3 weeks over Christmas. Then I went back to work for 9 days and then had 2.5 weeks off. And at the moment, I've got every Monday and Friday off unless work's really busy. And so I had to work last Friday and I had to work most of this Monday, but still from home. I'm hoping to have this Friday off. And so in the last probably 5 weeks, I've built so I've got the 20 swordsmen. I've built 20 null 9 sides because I've bought a lot of stuff. I've probably got about 5,000 points, I think, maybe 6.
Did you get those griffins you were after?
You can actually still buy them off the.
Right. Okay. I got.
Yeah, they're
cool.
still.
Yeah. Okay.
And I didn't realize that. That's the only reason I put the ad up. So I've built 10 knights. I've got another 17 to build. I've built 3 demis. I've got another 6 to build. I've built 20 halberdiers, and I've converted them from, kit bashed. So using the greatsword legs, the plastic greatsword legs, with the militia torsos, and then the halberds from the state troops, and as many like sort of great swords, like hats, because I'm doing a Reichland themed army, and so I'm kind of trying to incorporate all of the sort of units of legend, i.e. like Grimblades, the Altdorf Shining Company, Karaborg great swords, some units from Bogenhafen, and I'm kind of theming my army around Karaberg, because Karaberg is kind of like the Empires or the Old World's Alsace and Lorraine.
Right. Okay.
Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Alsace and Lorraine.
You were much more history buff than me, but yeah.
So for those that don't know, it's two French cities that flopped between being owned by the Germans, owned by the French throughout World War One, World War Two. And so in this particular part of the timeline, because Karaborg was originally the Dracwald Emperor's, and it was actually the capital of the empire. And then after the Dracwald Emperors were overthrown, it became part of Reichland, then it became part of Middenland, it became part of Westerland. And so it's kind of this...
So what's the... is it natural resources? Obviously, that's where the great swords technically, I mean, they come from everywhere, but that's the main ones, isn't it? The Karaberg great swords. Is that why you're doing that?
That's the famous,
across there?
Reichland great swords that basically fought to the last with, and that the white turned red because they just didn't stand down. And so, I've kind of looked at it and I've gone, okay, why don't we look at an Empire army it's obviously occupied by Reichland at the moment, but it would have some influence from Ulrich. So I want to build some units that are sort of Ulrich. It's the representation of the Church of Ulrich. Obviously, there's the Church of Sigmar, and then I started thinking about the actual backstory of my character, my main general, and so I sort of came up with the idea that he's actually a direct descendant of the Dracwald Emperors, and he's got a political, because I love the whole three emperors, right? But imagine if there was actually a fourth emperor.
Yeah, right.
And so
no one's told the story
yet. So basically, my general, his name is Lucius. Lucius the Lion is his name, right? And so in my story, he basically He serves the princes of Reichland, right, as the warden of Karaborg, essentially. But he also does underhanded deals with both the Church of Sigmar and the Church of Ulrich, with this sort of grand plan to overthrow. And the beauty he's got, right, is Karaborg, as it's the closest city to Westerland and Middenland. Middenheim, I guess, in Middenland. It's sort of a focal point where Reichland's expecting to be attacked. And so Reichland's sending all these different, units from Bogenhafen, from Altdorf, from everywhere. Basically this guy, he's been doing underhanded deals with Ulrich, Sigmar, and with the princes of Reichland. So that's kind of my theme. And I'll use tie-in colors on the feathers. And so, that's kind of my idea. All my detachments are going to be Reichland colors.
Right.
But then with the red...
Is that still red and blue then, or is that changed from back then?
Reichland
Reichland's red is blue and...
so Altdorf is red and blue.
Yeah, that's the one.
Reichland is a cream white with red with blue recesses in their frills.
That's right, because it was just Altdorf. Yeah, okay, cool.
But so what else have I built? 26 flagellants, which are it's a mixture of the plastics, so 10 of the plastics, but then I've got the Mordheim Witch Hunter Warband, and a few 6th edition warrior priests, and also Volton, the original, the first level of Volton, where he's got the 2 hammers. I've built 20 swordsmen, 20 halberdiers, 20 Northern Ironsides, which are my handgunners. What else? There's more. But that's basically what I've been doing over the time.
So you're just constructing it all. Have you put paint on them yet? as well?
No,
Or-
so my process is basically I built everything off base until my bases arrived.
Yep.
Then I stuck everything. Oh, sorry, 10 outriders as well. That's just more and more. It's
We'll
actually
get
in
into
the box
that.
down here. And yeah, so I'm basically trying to construct the whole army first, so I can start playing with it. Because a lot of tournaments aren't doing painting requirements for the first six
It's
months
a good point
anyway.
because then you can actually work out what you actually want to settle in on and get painted well. Yeah.
And then I'm going to go back and fill any green stuff gaps. I've already removed all mold lines. I do that before I build models. Some of the metals that I need to fill the gap that the slotter base. Obviously, it's a bigger slotter base, so that the slot doesn't completely cover it. Then I'll put sand. I think I'm going to go with a sand base, a bit more classic.
Yep.
And then I need to wash some of the models in. I mean, I do that with every plastic anyway, but some of them were sitting on desks on shelves for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years at
multiple
various
layers
points.
of dust and everything else. Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
dust
goes a
and
different
grime.
color.
So they'll get a
I
bar.
had some orcs like that. That was like, this is a grey and this used to be grey, but I don't know what color it is now. I can't even tell. I don't know what it was, but yeah. Anyway, probably should have washed them.
So yeah, my plan's basically, So my plan's basically to build the entire 6,000 points. I've got a steam tank and an Imperial Griffin on the way. I've got 2 baby Griffins. I've got Balthazar Gelt. I've probably got 20 different character models, all classics from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And then, I've kind of my idea is I'm looking at painting all my knights, demis, archers first. Then, because it'll be quicker, it's lower model count. And to be honest, that's probably what I'll play with competitively. The goal for me is to get 2,000 points painted for Castle Assault. So I have a fully painted army with movement trays painted for Castle Assault. So that's kind of the goal. I should be up. I'll be doing test models hopefully by sort of mid-May, March, sorry. And then I'll sort of really get into it after that. So that's what I've been doing.
Exciting,
so I've been playing.
Man. Yeah, totally new army.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of games anyway. Well, we'll get into it because then you can probably even touch on some of the. If you found, you've had a couple of games, haven't you? Is it 2, or you've actually done more than that?
3.
Now, probably 3. Yeah. As we touch some of those elements you play with, happy to, if you want to tell us how it went too. I'll just turn my screen on. So with the faction focuses, guys, we just. Sorry, I probably should have let you done an intro to yourself other than your army, but I guess people know now who you are. Obviously, they can check you out on your War Dollies podcast too if they're looking for stuff. Do you have a YouTube channel, or is it just
looking at that? I also do have an Instagram for the War Dollies as well, which is the War Dollies podcast, which has been pretty barren. There's a lot of pictures from, say, sort of 6-7 months ago, but I've just sort of ramped it back up. And we'll be up. I'm actually probably going to use Warhammer the Empire, the forum, and I'm probably going to do a painting log for this army. I'm going to wait. Cool. I'm going to only do it as the models get painted rather than built.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I'll look out for that. What's your tagline? What's your username on there? Because I'm on there a bit, but
I can't even. Wait,
you can't remember.
I don't normally log in anymore.
Oh, you don't need to just to look at it, do you? Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, I'm thinking you have to. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, cool. I do have one, but I haven't logged into it for about 10 years.
Cool. They're all starting to pop back up again, so that's interesting. We'll see how they go versus the Discords that are all out there these days as well. But us old schoolers like a forum every now and then. So cool. Hey, let's get into it then. I'll do what I've been usually doing with the other ones. I'll sort of obviously share the screen and run through stuff, but I'll let you guide the conversation if you want in terms of wherever you want to go with certain units and skip some if we think they're not worth talking about.
Do you want to do? I was going to say, do you want to do a rating of broken, good?
I love it. We haven't done that yet, but yes, we could do that. So what is it? Cool. Broken, good, or what?
Broken, good, and I don't know if rubbish is the right word, or
take it for fluff reasons.
Yeah, fluff only, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No worries. Okay, so I've got the Grand Army composition up. Do you want to run through some of that for us and anything that sits out different?
Yeah. So
8th and stuff.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of I don't know if any book doesn't allow you to take 50% of your army to be spent on
It's all the
characters.
same, yeah.
Yeah, so you can take 0 to 1 General of the Empire or Grand Master per 1,000 points, which is you can basically be a bit weird. I think if you got the same knightly order and you got 2 Grand Masters from the same one, unless they're from I don't know Grand Master from different provinces, but that kind of doesn't make sense. Then you can take 0 to 1 Lector of Sigmar or High Priest of Ulrich per 1,000 points. The interesting thing is you can take Sigmar and Ulrich in the same list.
Oh, yeah.
Which before, like, I don't think you could actually do that. And fluff wise, I mean, it works for me because and that's why I've sort of incorporated that because I like that idea, sort of an uneasy alliance against the greater good, and I like the political. I think if you know your history and you look at if you've seen the show The Borgias with Jeremy Irons, and you can sort of see how the church influenced the Holy Roman Empire, which was essentially Germany, which the empire's themed on in that Renaissance period. I think it's really, really cool. Captains of the Empire, Wizard Lords, Master Mages, Chapter Masters, Witch Hunters, Priests of Sigmar, Priests of Ulrich, and Empire Engineers.
This one's an interesting one, though. Wizard Lords aren't capped as such. But that's different to a lot of armies, at least the ones I play. Anyway, it's
4 level 4s.
Yeah.
I think you can actually take 5.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And they, obviously, they've always had access to pretty much every magic law, which is pretty funny. So yeah, cool. Okay, that's just something I noticed. Yeah, cool. And 1 war altar, obviously. Even if you take multiple lectors, only one of them's going on a war altar.
Yeah, I'd like to see something for Ulrich, like a sled, maybe pulled by wolves, or maybe a little bit too Santory, perhaps.
Down the track, maybe. Obviously, they're just reusing everything they had. It would have been. I understand why we don't get the other buff wagons, but I would have loved if they shoehorned it in somehow. But I don't know how, because you could have still converted them to other things,
Yeah.
But I sort of get it.
Then you got core 25%, 0 to 1 unit of veteran state troops per 1,000 points. State troops, state missile troops, free company militia, Empire archers, Empire knights, pretty standard to what it always has been. 50% on special, 0 to 1 units of inner circle knights per 1,000 points, which is pretty similar, except they are now specific special choice. Although from memory, they've all, I think 7th edition, if you upgraded them to inner circle, they became special. I have a feeling, I can't remember in 8th edition if they were actually special.
I think they are. I think they were. Anyway, keep going. I'll have a look. But yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I can't remember if they've ever had their own unit entry.
I'm thinking of Reiksguard Knights. That's what it was. They were special.
So it's interesting. Here's a bit of Empire history for you. So the Reiksguard, or Reiksguard as you refer to them as, were not founded until Wilhelm III beat Grom the Paunch and became
so they're not there yet.
Yeah, however, see my army, right, because my guy is a cousin of the Princes of Reichland as well, right, and that's where the sort of, it's that real skullduggery sort of, political maneuvering. So before the Reiksguard, the Princes of Altdorf were guarded by the Griffin Corps, and so I'm doing all my knights as the Griffin Corps using the Nuln Ironside heads with some of the great sword heads where they've just got, that where it's like it's a helmet and
it just goes. Yep. I love that.
So that's for the command. Yep. And then I'm using the Griffin shields from the Spearmen, the 6th edition Spearmen. And so I'm basically creating
those round ones. Corps. Just the round one with it. Yep. The ones I never put on my 40 Spearmen. Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah. Well, I probably bought them off you, mate. I've got 40 of them. I don't have any of the Spearmen. My Spearmen are actually, I'm using the Manarn's blades for my Spearmen, the Forge World models.
Right, okay. God, man, how much money have you spent on this army? Well, this was a long time. You bought a lot of this stuff a long time ago too, though, you're saying.
Yeah, I've sort of bought it, the sort of probably 1,500 points maybe 10 years ago. And then over the last sort of 3 years, I've just bought stuff off eBay, off Marketplace, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's pretty big. There's a lot. The idea is I want to be able to play an all cavalry army and all infantry army mixed arms.
Yeah.
I want to, play a really themed like Sigmarite or Ulrich based army. I can do that. Or I think the all cav one, because I'm also doing a second nightly order where the Grandmaster is the second Volton model, where he's got Galmaraz, not on the Elven steed.
No, okay, yeah, no, I'm getting it.
Yeah, the middle Volton, Volton can't remember which one he was called, but yeah, it's the first Volton that was on a horse. He was on the normal Empire plastic horse. Then you've got great swords, pistoliers, outriders, demigriff knights. You can take 0 to 3 war machines per 1,000 points from great cannons and mortars. So you can have 6 cannons in a 2,000 point army.
Yep.
If you hate all your friends. Then rare flagellants, 0 to 1 war machines, Hellblaster or rocket battery, 0 to 1 steam tank per 1,000 points, 20% mercenaries, 25% allies from Dwarven Holds, Kingdom of Bretonnia, and Wood Elf Realms.
Looks good. Cool. Okay. Now, obviously, you can update your battle, one of the captains for 25 points. It's all pretty normal as well. Cool. Yep. Well, let's go through characters, and then after that, maybe we'll look at mounts and jump to magic items if that makes a bit of sense. But yeah, cool. Commander of the Empire. I don't think a lot's changed here. I think the initiative dropped a little bit on the captain, not the general. But apart from
have you seen his attacks?
Of the general?
No, the captain.
He's 2.
2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't that? Oh, so it's dropped. Hang on. It used to be 4 and then 3.
It used to be 3 and 3. The only thing that actually differed between the two of them was leadership. Whereas now,
I thought it was just initiative. I thought they only had 2 attacks, but I'm wrong.
They've always had. Yeah, always had 3. The only difference between the two used to be the captain was leadership 8, and the elector or the general was leadership 9. But yeah, now there's actually
the Grandmaster 10. Was that what they used to have? Yeah, you're right.
I think in certain editions, yes, but he's only leadership 9 in this edition.
Yeah. He was still 9 too in 8th. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that the elector or the general, I can't remember which one they used. Same guy was leadership 10 from memory. So that. It's I think it, a lot of people just took captains before because, 3 attacks, they were cheap. It was only a point of leadership, especially if you had a Grandmaster as your general or your Wizard was your general.
I think that's what I used to do, is the Grandmaster and then had captains. Probably didn't notice the general only had 3 too. That's funny.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. But these drop points too then as well, obviously. I think it was 65 points or something, captains. 60,
yeah, I mean, mate, they're cheap. To be honest, so just to go through the stats, they're both weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4. General has 3 wounds, captain has 2. General's initiative 5, captain's initiative 4. 2 attacks versus 3, leadership 9 versus 8, 90 points versus 45. So literally just double the points. And in terms of upgrades. Interestingly, like the upgrades cost the same. So, they can have an additional hand weapon, great weapon, halberd, lance, handgun, longbow. They can also take any of the following. So it's interesting. You can have a handgun and a pistol or brace of pistols. So you can use a handgun range if you're not moving. Or if you're moving, you can use your pistols or brace of pistols. Yeah. Shield, heavy armor or full plate armor, and can be mounted. We'll go through those after. And also 100 points, obviously, for the general, 50 points for the captain. They also have Hold the Line, Rallying Cry. Hold the Line, I believe, is an Empire-specific special rule. The character in any unit they've joined automatically pass any panic test they're required to make. So, to me, the captain, the only time I'm going to take a captain is if I want a unit of, say, state troops, militia, whatever it is, if I'm trying to come up with some, fancy idea where I just want them to be able to pass panic tests without needing to take them, or if I need a battle standard bearer. Only time. I just won't take one. I think only having 2 attacks and leadership 8, I'd rather invest that 45 points somewhere else.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So,
cool.
yeah, that's kind of them. I think the general, really, really good. Yeah, like I'm a big fan of the general. I've been playing around with a few different builds. I'm actually looking at running 2. But I'll go through some builds maybe at the end on those.
Yeah, sounds good. Wizard.
All right, so we've got Wizard Lord and Master Mage. So interesting. The Wizard Lord is now toughness 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit more survival.
So look, I mean, they've got human stats, except the Wizard Lord's also weapon skill 4 and has 2 attacks, which is also different. He's only leadership 8. The Master Mage is leadership 7. Yeah, toughness, like obviously wounds, initiatives 3, human stats.
And plus you can obviously, we pointed this out, you can obviously take, more of them if you really wanted to. You're not fixed to that 0 to 1 per 1,000 generally for a Lord, which is sort of different, at least from the ones I've seen. I think, I think I've said this before in some other ones. I feel like we've got to potentially get away from being worried about having wizards in combat a bit more. They might die, but I feel like that they're pushing you that way sometimes with some of these magic assailment spells, the fact you can cast them every turn. So maybe that's why they've decided to do this. And probably a bit of a lore choice potentially. I don't know. That they're a bit more sort of just fighty and they're not stuck up in a college of magic somewhere. I don't know.
I mean, look,
wouldn't call them fighty, but you know what I mean.
Well, here's an interesting point, actually. So I just crunched the numbers. Now, one of the things I think that actually makes Empire Wizards probably some of the best wizards in the game is they get access to battle magic, demonology, dark magic, elementalism, illusion, and necromancy. Now, you could take, if you wanted to, for 960 points, you could take 6 level 4 wizards, 1 with each lore. Which, I mean, I'm not a huge fan, if I'm being completely honest, Gommo, of the fact that I just feel like either they needed to cap it at 35% or keep it at like you can only take 1 Lord 50% choice.
50% share. Yeah, well, this is the whole thing with not only these, but obviously the other big broken, well, I shouldn't say broken, but big characters. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, that's probably my only... There is a bit of a hero hammer element. Look, I think you can counter it. Like, I think a lot of people are, they haven't played enough games. There's not enough data. There's, and counters will come. But yeah, I mean, the fact that I could take 6 level 4 wizards in a 2,000 point army and have 1 with each lore is wild. So yeah, I mean, apart from that, but they also magic resistance 1.
Yeah, well, that's the other point I wanted to bring up as we go through the characters, and we'll keep moving on because it'll take all night otherwise. But I do feel like there's a lot of MR1 in this army. Like, I don't know if you felt that, like just not on the wizards, but there's other things that pop up a lot.
Well, I think it's actually quite. If you it's one of those books that if you really wanted to, I've been playing with an idea, and we'll go through what that idea is when we come to it. But you can actually play the Empire without wizards, which I think is cool.
Can't dispel a prayer. So,
well, there's that. Can't dispel a prayer, but there's also a really easy way of stopping casting, or not stopping it, but really bringing it down a notch. You probably still need a wizard or 2. And again, we'll go through the idea, but to actually shut down the magic phase, but it can be done. All right, then we've got...
cool. And then you got the Grandmaster. Yep.
Yeah, but he's also now got a Chapter Master, which I think
the
is
Chapter
cool.
Master, which is new, Yep.
Yeah, and so he's almost like they've kind of split the captain away and gone, okay, well, we're not going to make the captain as good. We're going to have another character that sits in between the sort of you've kind of got the Grandmaster, the General, the Chapter Master, and then the Captain. So... Look, weapon skill 6 and versus weapon skill 5, both strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds to the Grandmaster, 2 for the chapter, initiative 6 and 5, 4 attacks, 3 attacks, leadership 9, leadership 8. But I mean, the chapter master is essentially a captain, but in the old rules, except he's only got ballistic skill 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, these knightly orders only spend time with the sword, really, don't they? Not with the bow. So
yeah,
with these,
yeah.
But what was I just going to say? Oh, it's a bit of a derailment and a bit of a thing. But why do brats who are humans get the Duke and Empire don't? Do you think it's because they've got a few of these extra little, fighty character options over Bretonnia effectively, or?
They're very different armies. To me, and one of the reasons I picked Empire for this edition is I wanted a challenge. Especially in competitive play, Empire are very much they're good at most things, barring maybe Magic now. They're not, and even then, like there's other books that are better. They're good at shooting, but everyone else that has good shooting is better than them. Look, they don't have any special rules with their magic that makes their magic better. There's no +1s, -1s to dispel or anything like that. They're just good at everything. And I think adding something like a Duke
would push them over into that. Like they'd have that best guy, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, they'd have something that's actually the best. That's kind of the idea of the Empire is it's very, it's the biggest kingdom in the entire game. It's strength in numbers. It's a bit it's themed on the Holy Roman Empire from the Renaissance, but it's a little bit like the Roman Empire as well.
Yeah.
If you look at history, like the Romans weren't actually particularly good at single combat. Most barbarian tribes, etc., were, but they were smarter than everyone. They were, tactically superior. They were ruthless. And I think the Empire is a little bit similar in that regard.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah. Cool. So they have a bunch of special rules, obviously, because they're on their cavalry. So they've got all the standard counter charge, first charge. Well, I shouldn't say standard because not everyone gets that, but I mean, that's good that they get first charge. They have the immune to psych, which is pretty, they always had that, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, they always had that. Yeah. Master of Battle, Rallying Cry, Stubborn, which you can build some pretty interesting cowboys with the Chapter Master because he's stubborn. If you make him tanky, he's a reliable sort of chaff, that and again, I'll come to that with another idea that I've had later on. But Swift Stride and Veterans as well, so they can reroll. Well, they can reroll leadership tests, but they're immune to psych. So I don't think there's too many tests they'll need to reroll, but there are exceptions for that.
Yeah, there is, because is that just reroll any leadership test? Because they're like spells that make you do a leadership test, like stuff like that. Useful.
So any leadership test other than break test. Master of Battle is a specific rule to these guys. If they join Empire Knights, Inner Circle Knights, or Demigryph Knights, that unit gains the immune to psychology special rule. If they leave the unit, they lose that special rule. So it's why they're in the unit, or if they're killed. Look, I think if you want a tooled up mounted character, the Grandmaster's your guy. Is he as good as the Duke? No. He's as good as the Baron, though, from Bretonians. He's not as good as a Chaos Lord, Vampire Lord, etc. Never has been, never will. But there is some cool magic item builds that you can do with him. It's really easy to get a 2-up armor save and a 5-up ward save with these guys and still have some points for a good magic weapon. Like you can spend 70 points on a magic weapon. We'll come to that, I guess, in magic items. Look,
that's new though too. I just highlighted that, like the fact that I like the fact now that you can put them on demigryphs and you got a little bit more. Whether or not you do it, whether or not it's good or not is a different question. But demigryphs are always, it's one of the powerful units I'd imagine in the Empire army. So it's good to have that option where we didn't have that before. So that's pretty cool.
Actually, sorry, we forgot to do broken, good.
Yeah.
So just going back quickly, General of the Empire, it's good, not broken. Captain, unless you're taking a BSB or you're going for a very specific build, I would say it's a fluff piece nearly. Wizards, good. I think the other two, Grandmaster, Chapter Master, I think they're good. I don't think anything there is broken.
No. Cool.
All right.
Witch Hunters.
So the Witch Hunter is back again. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, relatively, human stats. Initiative 5, 2 attacks, leadership 8. I think he's always had 2 attacks. Warrior Priest always had 2 attacks. I don't think he ever had 3. Look, he can take additional hand weapon, great weapon, crossbow, handgun, pistol, brace of pistols, can be mounted, take 50 points of magic items. He's immune to psych, has killing blow, and then he has a rule called Suffer Not. And I'm going to say right now that I think this guy he's a fluff piece. Yeah. The reason I say that is in a friendly game, like if I was playing you and I knew what you were taking.
I think I've written this in my notes. Great for friendly because he's got to be in the bloody list, doesn't it? Where is it?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that bit. That's the bit that makes him a fluff piece. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I think the easy way to fix this would have been at the start of each game, you can pick one. Yeah. I think that would have been better because otherwise, like in a competitive scenario, he's never going to be seen. It's just, okay, I lie. The first one, maybe. So again, it goes back to
if you're not doing if you're trying to, to protect yourself from magic. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Witch Hunter in any unit he's joined gains hatred hatred enemy wizards only, but magic resistance too. So you're choosing that for the magic res. That's the only one that's not situational. The Revenant. So the Witch Hunter in any unit they've joined gains hatred undead and flaming attacks. The Mutant. The Witch Hunter in any unit they've joined gains hatred warriors of chaos and beasts of chaos.
I don't know this one. What's this one? That doesn't exist. Who's this?
What's that?
That's a copyright error. There's no such thing as beasts of chaos. They're beastmen brayherds, or are they called?
Oh, yeah, true.
So, I think this was written before they changed, or someone changed something.
Gotcha.
Quite funny. Sorry, just something. Yeah, but then you got demonic models. Yeah, is that just what the demonic? Is that just from the demons in the legacy, or is the demonic model something that's in the actual core rules?
Any that has the demonic special rule, it will get hatred against.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And magical attacks.
But you're right. Like, there's not. You'd be hard pressed to do this.
Look, if you were going to a tournament and you were trying to predict the meta, you might see some people try and do that. I think you're wasting your time, and there's way better options because I know that if they're predicting the meta is characters. And, there's some pretty scary chaos dragon lords there. I think you might see the mutant at times, but again, like...
This isn't the guy that's probably going out to kill them, though.
Like, yeah, a witch hunter, he's got killing blow, but he's got killing...
Doesn't work on that.
Yeah, it doesn't work on the dragon. Like, I just can't... Yeah. I think this is a definite...
Great models, or great model on foot.
Yeah, great model.
And you can mount him now, but you couldn't do that before, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, again, yeah.
You could in 9th age, but he was called the Inquisitor. Cool. Yeah. Right, but I just don't see the point, to be honest. I like most of my non-competitive games are practice competitive games. I do play the occasional, but I'm usually testing something and I'm usually playing against mates that are also competitive gamers. It's just what I enjoy. I've been playing some like non-competitive games down at my local club in Queensland, which I will shout out at some point in this, just for anyone that lives on the north side of Brisbane. But yeah, mate, I just don't think he's probably the worst unit entry in this entire book.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I would nearly add a 4th and call him garbage.
I wrote on my list, just friendly games, good, tournament, just annoying.
Yeah, he's just not good. All right, Priest of Sigmar. So you got the Lector and the Priest. So look, I mean the Lector's. I can't remember. I don't know if he was weapon skill 5 before, but he is weapon skill 5 now. Apart from that, they're both human stats, leadership 8 and leadership 7 respectively, both toughness 4. 3 attacks the lector has, 2 for the priest. Apart from that, relative to human stats, they can have additional hand weapon, great weapon, shield. They can have heavy armor. They can be mounted, and 150, 100 versus 50 for magic items. Magical attacks, magic resistance 1, prayers of Sigma. Now, prayers are slightly different, like a lot of other books that most people probably have already realized or have been talked about. There's certain spells or bound spells that used to be, from previous editions that are no longer, and they're now leadership tests that you take in your command phase, or command sub phase, I should say. So essentially in your command sub phase, for each priest or lector, you take a leadership test. If you pass the test, you can choose between Hammer of Sigma, Shield of Faith, and Soulfire. Look, I'll go through Soulfire last. I think that one is very situational. I don't know if I'll use it much. Hammer of Sigma and Shield of Faith, to me, are both really good. Generally speaking, if I'm not planning on being in combat, I've been using Shield of Faith and running him in a unit of Inner Circle Knights. So until the start of your next sub-phase, this model and single friendly unit within its command range, when this prayer is chanted, has a 5-up ward save against any wounds suffered during the shooting phase. So magic missiles, vortex, and any shooting attacks, 5-up ward save. You pair that with a 2-up armor save. All of a sudden, I'm running around with Bretonnian Inner Circle Knights. So they kind of sit between questing and knights. They're kind of better than questing knights and knights of the realm, but not quite Grail Knights.
And did you say with that build you're talking about, is your guy in that unit, or he's able to throw that prayer on and they run off and do stuff? Okay, yep.
Yeah, he's in the unit. And then what I do is, if I'm planning on charging, or I think I'm going to be charging, or I'm going to be counter-charging, I take the Hammer of Sigma. So till the start of your next turn sub-phase, this model, its mount, and a single friendly unit within its command range, when this prayer is chanted, may reroll to hit and to wound of a natural 1 during the combat phase. And I'll show, it actually pairs really well with the Inner Circle Knights. But if you think about it, a lot of the time they're hitting on, usually it's 3s or 4s. Probably most of the time 4s. If they're fighting, anything good. If they're fighting anything average, they're hitting on 3s. So
you're getting a third or a half of your misses back. And then
so if you roll a 2, obviously I get to reroll, but any 1s. But I think the big one is for anything strength 6 against toughness 4, being able to reroll 1s to wound really helps. And so it's I really like the Warrior Priest of Sigma. I actually played a game on Friday where I ran 1 of each.
Is he in one of these, or you mean one of the, which we'll get to next, one of the Ulrich ones and one of the...
Yeah, the Ulrich.
Cool. Okay.
I keep forgetting about the Magic Resistance 1.
That's the thing. So that's the third now. We've got 2 we've got 2 different priest ones with MR, and then we've also got the wizards with MR.
And the Witch Hunter as well.
Oh, and the Witch Hunter too.
Oh, no, sorry, the Witch Hunter. The Witch Hunter has it unless he chooses the demon.
Ah, okay, cool, yeah. Oh, yeah, because one of him's MR2, yeah. It's probably, you'll probably find a lot of your units at least have MR1 on them,
But
cool.
Look, and I will go through it when we go through the mounts, but there is a way that you can really shut down level 4s with Empire that I haven't seen in any other books. I haven't gone through a lot of the books in great detail. I've sort of brushed over a few of them. I've been mainly trying to read the rules and just play with Empire lists, to be honest.
No, let's talk about that. Yeah, because we'll get to mount. I'm sure. Oh, I don't know. I think I know what you're talking about, but we'll see when we get there, I guess. Cool. Right. Warrior Priest of Ulrich. So they're same stats, are they?
Yeah, identical.
Yeah, identical. They're just, it's more fluff and different prayers.
Yeah, same points cost, same upgrades, except they can't take a war altar. Same special attacks, except they got the prayers of Ulrich. Now, look, I probably prefer the prayers of Ulrich. It depends on what I'm taking them with. So prayers of Ulrich, same thing, leadership test, command subphase. Just to note as well, you cannot use your general's leadership. So it's their leadership 7, leadership 8. They also don't benefit from the reroll like undead do with the invocate and the
like the BSB type thing, yeah.
Auto include BSB for undead and auto include icon bearer for Tomb Kings because they get the reroll.
True. Yeah,
specifically says it, and I think they need it, right? They need the raises. Being an undead player myself, you need the raises to function. So you've got Battle Howl. So until the start of until your next start of turn subphase, when this model in a single friendly unit within its command range, when this prayer is chanted, makes a charge roll, you may apply a plus D3 modifier to the result. This prayer may only affect models whose troop type is infantry or cavalry. Winter's Chill. Until your next start of turn subphase, any model that directs its attacks against this model, its mount, or any unit is joined during the combat phase may reroll. Must reroll any sixes to hit of a natural 6. Wrath of Winter. Until your start of turn subphase, this model, its mount, and any unit is joined gains the multiple wounds 2 special rule. Now, the interesting thing here is if you've got 2 priests of Sigma or 2 priests of Auric in the same unit, they do not stack. I see nothing here that stops you from having one of each in the same unit and say having reroll 1s to hit and wound with multiple wounds too.
Yeah.
So, if you've got a long, and I think a lot of the time for shock cavalry, stuff like, Inner Circle Knights, you could debate they're not shock cavalry, but I think if you've got that, they are. Multi-wounds, I'm not sure if you picked this up, mate, but multi-wounds no longer carry over.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and which I think, I don't mind it. I think it's a buff for monstrous infantry and monstrous cavalry. For anyone that's listening that hasn't realized this yet, what I'm talking about is when you do multi-wounds, let's say you've got a character, he's got multi-wounds 2 on a magic weapon, and you're fighting a unit of ogres. And you do 2 wounds. Now, normally, that 2 wounds would become 4. However, if, let's say, you put it against, and you kind of also then need to think about being in base contact and splitting your attacks against different models. However, you can only do that against characters and champions. So if you do 2 wounds and the ogre that has, you're killing only has 2 wounds left, you actually lose the multi-wounds.
Yeah, and they wouldn't count to combat res or anything. They're just gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And shooting works exactly the same. So cannons, for example, shooting through, say, a line of demigryphs or a line of ogres, you've got to roll individually, and then you've actually got to track the wounds on each model.
Yeah,
I like it in terms of,
I like the buff part, but it's more annoying for that type of case where you've got a cannonball or something and you've left the unit with that type of, that's annoying.
You got like,
one
unit.
One here and
like you could have 4 models in a line of ogres and they've each got 1 wound left and you get no points for them.
Yeah.
That's
stupid.
But yeah, so that's the priests. And then
they're all auto takes.
Look, to be honest, they're not broken, but if there was I know I'm creating categories here. I think if there was a very good category, I would actually. Originally, I was all about the Priest of Auric when I first read the rules. Having now used the Priest of Sigmar, I think they're both actually very good, and I actually find it hard to pick between the two in, say, a unit of knights. One allows... I actually am starting to think that the Priest of Sigmar is more flexible simply because you can get a ward save in the shooting phase. The Priest of Auric is very good, but he's very good at one... it's hyper aggressive. Not the movement as well. It's a hyper aggressive choice.
Yeah.
Whereas the Priest of Sigmar has an aggressive prayer. He also has the Shield of Faith, which is a defensive prayer. And so I think from a flexibility standpoint, I actually prefer the Priest of Sigmar now. So
that's good. I mean, it's part of Empire, isn't it? Like they're all 3s, like you got to 3s across the board. You have to. It's all about these little buffs and these little things. So I feel like if you're not taking at least one of these priests, you're probably obviously getting it somewhere else, but I feel like that, you're losing something with this army. So, cool. Engineers.
So, engineer, 45 points. Biggest one, can take a Hockland long rifle, repeater handgun, repeater pistol, pigeon bombs, that like if you take pigeon bombs, I'll laugh.
Yeah. Is it worth?
Light
Do you
armor
want me to
again.
jump to them now? Those two, because that's probably the main time we'll look at the long rifle and stuff. Is it? Yeah. So this one is this one new, or do they have something similar to this before? The blunderbuss.
The pigeon bombs.
No, the blunderbuss.
No, yeah, the blunderbuss has been around since 7th edition.
Has God, right? Yeah, man. I obviously never saw it. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you could take all three of these, or one of them. The grenade. I'll just run through them. The blunderbuss is 24 inches, strength 4, -2 to your AP, cumbersome, and ponderous. Ponderous that's if you move, it's -2 to shoot, is it, or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. But if the roll to hit successful, it turns into D3 plus 1 hits, which is kind of funny. Then the Hochland rifle's probably pretty same, 36-inch, strength 4, -1 AP. Well, that stuff would be different. Armor bang 1, cumbersome, ponderous, but obviously you can target anything really, champion or character. I'm assuming you still need to be able to see them and everything, like in terms of line of sight.
The other thing that I'm really not a fan of with the Hochland is you still get a lookout, sir.
Oh, you do you? Because it's not saying you don't. Is that right? You can just target them.
And if you look at the single character characters in units.
Yeah.
Which I really think they should have allowed this.
And champs still get a lookout, sir. They do, don't they? Yeah.
Yep. And like, I guess thematically for me, I'm looking at that and going, okay, I understand maybe for a wizard that they could do this, but they're not that guy in that movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Angelina Jolie where they can, bend bullets and, like they're not Neo in the Matrix. So I'm like, how do they see this tiny little lead ball
just getting them
flying
in the face.
towards them
Headshot.
from 36 inches away? That's the only thing I don't get. But yeah, I think the Hochland is not ideal now. But yeah, pigeon bombs, like I don't even think we need to read them. They're a proper fluff choice.
Oh, okay. So they used to have the grenade launching blunderbuss as well. It was 18-inch, strength 6, armor piercing, move fire, slow to fire. The only thing I thought with that one though, because it's this D3 plus 1, I wonder if that's useful to have just to guard your war machines. When you get those fast cabs coming around and you're like, well, I'll just fire you in the face with upwards of 3 strength 4 hits -2, on a fast cab unit. Because he's probably standing there anyway.
I think if it was D6 plus 1, yes, but D3 plus 1, you might only get 2 hits.
Yeah, and then and you don't cause panic unless you get them under 50% or whatever. Is that right?
Yeah, it has to be over 50%. Over 25% casualties. They might fall back in good order, but
that's true. Yeah.
So look, the engineer does have a place. It's I don't know. It's situationally good. And it's only situationally good depending on if you have war machines. If you have war machines, he is good.
Oh, yeah. Well, because now too with the and we'll get to war machines, but now that you're having to definitely roll your 2 hits on things like the what's it called? The the Hell Blaster. Is that make him more useful, or you're just in there to stop the reroll? I mean, to get your reroll on the misfire.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one. So Master of Ballistics. So when they're not fleeing or engaged in combat, once per turn, a friendly Empire war machine that's within its command range can either use this model's ballistic skill characteristic or reroll a single artillery dice. The first thing I have there is it doesn't declare that you actually have to select which one you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, can I just, like with a Hell Blaster, which I think if you're taking a Hell Blaster, you have to take one of these. So a Hell Blaster really is the cost of the machine plus 45, plus 55, because you may as well take the Hochland long rifle because you can shoot and still do this ability in the same shooting phase. So there's nothing there that says I have to choose. So I could go, well, I'm going to roll the artillery dice, and if I roll the misfire, I am going to use the reroll. If I don't roll the misfire, I'm going to use his ballistic skill.
Yeah, and the other thing too, it's in command range as well, which is good too. So you get a
you
7-inch.
Yeah, you can.
Because it used to be 3 inches, wasn't it? Or you had to actually deploy with them all. I can't remember what the rule was, but you had to be closer. I know. I'm pretty sure.
And I actually forgot that on when I was playing on Friday, because I used an engineer, that command range is their leadership value, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
I was playing it as 3 inches for some reason. I think I was thinking of the 3 inches, and I also forgot to do this. So clouds of soot and smoke. So that's the other special rule they have. This model is considered to be behind full cover whilst it's within 3 inches of a friendly unit whose troop type is War Machine. So I forgot that, and I played it as 3 inches, not 7 for Master of Ballistics, which was a bit silly of me because you can actually sit him really far back with the Hockler long rifle. So yeah, that's all the characters. Look, I think most of them good. I think the captain situational. You'll still see him in competitive play. Like I think the Witch Hunter, if you see him, he's only there for the Magic Resistance 2. There is a certain build you can do that you might see in tournament play for him. So in fact, we could segue straight into what that build is if you like.
Yeah, well, we got the character mounts here, and I think you're going to include one of them, I'm assuming.
In fact, no, that actually doesn't work. Scrap that idea because I forgot Magic Resistance it's not cumulative. Yeah.
Yeah, but is this... Hang on. What's your build you were talking about, though?
Okay, so this is the build that I was thinking about. So the way that the War Altar works, I'm just going to bring up the War Altar.
Yeah, so, I just brought it up now.
Yeah, so the War Altar is 135 points. It's a heavy chariot. It's toughness 5, strength 5, 5 wounds. So you've got an 8 wounds.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. Hey, that was an 8 wound.
Yep.
Lector. Yep.
It's close order, first charge, Holy Fervor, impact hits D6 +1 because it's a heavy chariot, large target, magic resistance 2, and this is the key here.
That's what you were talking. Okay, sorry. Yes, that's that bit that wouldn't stack. Yep.
So it's magic resistance 2. Now, this is the interesting thing. What I was actually talking about is stacking the Witch Hunter with this, but you can't do that. However, the Lector himself is magic resistance 1. Which would accumulate with the War Altar because it's one model.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So you're getting magic resistance 3.
But that's just on that model if you're casting stuff at that model.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
But in addition, while we'll go through Witchbane. It's also Symbol of Might, Terror, and Witchbane, which is the one we'll go through now. So models within the command range, friend or foe, suffer a -2 to their casting rolls. So if you target the War Altar and you're within 18, you're at -5 to cast. So level 4 is actually at -1, unless they've got, a +1 to cast, +2 to cast, something like that. Holy Fervor, this is where it gets interesting. You need to have him as your general. So unless this unit's fleeing, which it's not unbreakable. It's stubborn. Friendly units within 6 of it automatically pass any fear tests. Different one. I'll go through that one in a second. So, Symbol of Might. The command range of Elector of Sigmar mounted on the War Altar is increased from 8 to 12. Note, if this model is your general, its command range is 18 inches. So, -2 to cast with 18. The trick is it's all wizards. So, I guess where I'm going with how you could buff or debuff magic
in this case.
So you would need to run 2 level 2s, and you would basically run the War Altar in the middle of your sort of formation. Not necessarily the middle of the board, but in the middle of your formation, ideally deployed opposite their level 4. You would run said War Altar up as quickly as you possibly can, and then just outside 18 inches, you would run 2 level 2 wizards that you could get probably in units of knights, so they've got some protection. And you would maybe I think you can upgrade them to veterans. No, it's stubborn, not veterans. But anyway, you would basically run 2 wizards up, and they would sit just outside that 18-inch bubble, so they're not getting a minus to cast themselves. However, they're within range to try and dispel enemy wizards, and all of a sudden then you're dispelling at level 4.
Effectively. Yeah.
Yeah, because they become a level 2. The level 4 is essentially a level 2. That being said, I think you're better off just taking a level 4 wizard. Could it work? It could work. You could also just take the War Altar and then they're just -2, and maybe you get lucky on a dice off. It's possible, but you do need to beat them. That's the challenge now. I'm definitely going to get one. I'm definitely going to try it. I'm going to try and come up with some builds like that. I mean, magic targeting it, it's -5 to cast, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you're basically not, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. Is it a target for spells? This is the thing. Maybe not, but I guess it depends on the opponent.
I think if you're -5 to cast, probably not.
Nah, that's the thing. Like, I just wouldn't have thought it'd be a little bit more useful if you could join it in some other units, so that unit, has this magic res. But yeah,
yeah. I think if it was still unbreakable, it used to be stubborn. And then, I think it could reroll break test or something like that in certain editions. I think it was also unbreakable in certain editions. I think it should be unbreakable. Like, you're talking about some hectic, guy that would probably whip himself in his spare time. Yeah. So that's the War Altar. It's definitely got a place. I think it's good. I think you build you're going to have to go a low magic build to use it because it -2 to cast for a level 4.
Yeah.
Look, you could have a level 4 that flies around and it stays outside the 18-inch bubble. It could definitely work.
I mean, that's a lot of the board still. You know what I mean? Especially when a lot of things end up in the middle sometimes.
It's interesting, though. A level 4 that's mounted on, say, an Imperial Griffin with a War Altar has a 24-inch dispel range. And so if you can get your War Altar within 18 of their level 4 wizard, you're actually getting +1 to dispel, because obviously you need to beat their roll. The -2 brings them down to a level 2. You're a level 4. Being that you need to beat, you're actually getting +1 on whatever the dice is. So, that could work. Look, I think the War Altar is good. All right, other mounts. Where are they? Mounts. So for those listening at home, I'm using the actual
Chariots.
War Altar.
Probably not supposed to have these screenshots up, but I don't know. Everyone's got the books by now, surely. No one's looking.
All right, so there's actually 2 types of Griffin now. You've got the Griffin and the Imperial Griffin.
Yep.
Look, I mean, I think they're both good. I prefer the Griffin for the general, and I prefer the Imperial Griffin for the wizard can only take an Imperial Griffin, which is interesting.
Yeah. The other guys can too, though, but only, is that right? But only the wizard lord.
Sorry. Yeah. But I think I prefer the general on a normal Griffin.
Plus, it's got a cool base size. That's what you want to have.
Yeah. So the Griffin is, what's its fly range? So fly 9, pretty good.
Yep.
So fly 9, move 6 on its ground move, which I think is actually still pretty good for stuff like the Falcon Horn and those types.
I've been looking at a bit of that because I just feel like that's going to be an auto take for Brett. So
I'm curious if that you see a return of the Orb of Thunder in the Empire Arcane Journal.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Because if you do, that will be a massive buff against flying characters. And I think the Empire
2 in there. Yeah. What's the because I know wyverns and stuff, orcs, they're like movement 4s, but what's the dragon and stuff for high elves and chaos? They're probably still up there, like 6.
I think they're movement 6 still. Yeah. So both Griffins are weapon skill 5. The Griffin is strength 5. The Imperial is strength 6. They both add +1 toughness to the user, so you only get up to toughness 5 unless you've got spells. +3 wounds to the Griffin, +4 for the Imperial. Initiative, interestingly, the Griffin is faster than the Imperial Griffin. Griffin's initiative 5, the Imperial's initiative 4. Both have 4 attacks. There's only a 30-point difference, but +1 toughness, +3 wounds, +4 wounds. So, look, the Griffin's a monstrous creature. The Imperial Griffin is a behemoth, 50 by 50, 60 by 100. They've got wicked claws, serrated maw, and griffonic pelt, which counts as heavy armor. Now, I don't understand. With heavy armor, does that mean that if I take plate armor, I don't need to take a shield and I have a 2-up armor save?
No, because they don't. So how armor? The way I understand it, so you only get 1 armor value, and that's usually 4, 5, or 6, called different things. You can only pick one of them, and then you add either shields or the other types of armor, like barding shields. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, okay.
So in this case, if you add plate, that you would pick that over this one.
Gotcha.
So you get 4 up. I think it's actually cleverly worded, but I think it's just, again, the way they do it gets confusing. So armor value is the one you look at, and then you join the other ones on, like shield, barding, whatever.
Okay. So basically...
And modifiers. You know how some of the magic items say add +1 to your armor value, for example?
Yeah.
That's something else that adds, yeah.
Yeah, so it basically means you come with heavy armor, but you may as well take plate if you're a general. Wizard means the wizard's got a 5-up armor save.
Yeah, yeah, the wizard, yeah, and isn't there a magic? We'll get to. There's a magic item that wizards can wear, isn't there as well?
Yeah, but that counts as heavy armor.
Ah, okay, right, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it gives you a ward save. So
yeah.
So you're basically paying for a ward save when you could just do that with something else. But it means you can get multiple ward saves. In terms of special rules, close order. So the Griffin's got close order, fly 9, as I mentioned before, large target, D3 stomp, swift stride, and terror.
And he's got the 2 heads. You can pay the extra head too for him for an extra
the
attack.
Imperial Griffin, yeah.
For the Imperial Griffin.
That's the only difference between them is
pricey there though, 180 now.
Yeah, if you go for the extra heads, it just gives him 1 extra attack. Strength 6, you know. Now the serrated Maw is armor bane 2, multiple wounds 2, whereas the wicked claws is AP 2. So
this is confusing, right? Yeah. So if you got the Maw is the mouth, so you always take 1 of those attacks, but if you got the 2 heads, that extra attack's definitely this one as well. Is that how it works? Yeah.
Yeah, so you can basically you can split your attacks between the Maw or the wicked claws, but 1 attack must be made by the Maw, but you can do all of them by the Maw.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, we look. I think it's it makes it versatile.
Because depending on what army you're going up against, like ogres or whatever, you go serrated Maw.
Yeah. Look, I think they're both good. I've got 2 baby griffins. One I'm converting to have because captains can ride griffins now too.
Yeah.
Which you may see certain builds, but again, I think you're better off just getting the general. It gives you a cheap griffin, and really you're just paying for the griffin. But yeah, I'm getting the Imperial Griffin, and I'll have the general and the wizard, and I'm going to probably magnetize them, so I can switch between the 2. And then the other mounts are the demigriff, but we'll go through those when we go through the actual demigriff knights.
Cool.
Do you want to go through items?
Yeah, let's smash through that. I'll try and we might just have to keep speeding her up so it doesn't take overly 2 hours, but that's okay. Sorry. I'll keep pushing along. But definitely. Let's do magic items. That'd be cool.
All right.
The old rune fang. It's always got to be in every edition. It's always got to be 100 points.
See, I don't think it should be 100 points anymore.
No, that's just what they do. It's always that.
Yeah. Look, it's minus 2 AP. You get strike first special rule, which is cool. And you no longer ignore armor though, which I think is why it was 100 points. And if you consider that you can't take any other items, I just can't. There's so many better combos. No, you can't get a ward save. You can get a 2-up armor save, but you always wound on a 2+, and you can re-roll to wound, which is okay. That is good, but you're talking about models that have
4 attacks.
4 attacks for a Grand Master, 3 for a general. Maybe I think there's certain spells where you get an extra attack, but so you're talking 5 and 4. I don't think it's worth it for 100 points. If it had AP2, armor bane 3, maybe, but even then, you're fishing for 6s. Although with the rerolls, chance you could get it. So I think the Rune Fang is. I just don't know if I'll ever take it, to be honest, mate. I think it's good, but
I mean, would you even thought it would have been? I don't even think it would have been broken if they just said, still no armor save on there.
Yeah,
because
just make it what it was. Yeah, I think it should have just always been what it was.
Yeah, because now you get these wards and regen stacking and more wounds. Anyway, Anyway, it is what it is. Cool. Mace of Hellstorm. That's Sturm.
Yeah, so I think the Rune Fang for me is it's a fluff piece. I'm probably not ever going to take it. Unless I was playing a massive 4,000 point game and I didn't have any other magic weapons I could take.
Yep. Because the next two you probably have, or three.
The Mace of Hellstrom is good, but only on one model. Actually, maybe I would consider taking on an Arch Lector on a War Altar, but probably not. So Mace of Hellstrom is the same as it's always been. You can do your normal single-handed combat attacks at the strength of the user and with no AP. Or you can trade it all for one attack that is strength 10, AP 5, that does D6 wounds. It's one of the only things in the game that does D6 wounds. Requires two hands, magical attacks. Now, there's one reason I would take this, and it's actually on a level 4 wizard using Spectral Doppelganger. So you Lore Familiar, Mace of Hellstrom, put him on
pick it. Yeah,
Imperial Griffin. There is a debate about whether, for those that don't know what Spectral Doppelganger does, is you basically, it's an assailant spell where you get to do 2d6 hits. Now, some people are arguing online that the 2d6 hits become one hit because it incorporates the weapon profiles. Other people like myself are going, well, no, you get one hit, but that one hit becomes 2d6 hits at strength 10, AP 5, d6 wounds. Now, do I think they intended for that interaction? No, I don't think it was intended. But I think rules as written, you can do it. It needs to be errated. It needs an FAQ.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. We'll see this, and it'll just have to be ruled at tournament level or whatever until we hear otherwise. So
correct. Yeah. I mean, I've written a list with it in it. Put it that way, because I look at it and I go, well, I would rather take that. It's more reliable, more flexible than a cannon. Than to deal with big monsters. I'm like, well, other than that, I haven't really got anything that can deal with them. Yep. So I'm like, people can say it's broken. I'm like, well, okay, put your Chaos Lord and your Dragon on a horse and leave him at home. Because I've got nothing that can deal with it otherwise, other than a cannon, and they're so situational, it's not even funny. So, but I think that's the Mace. It's good on that. It's actually, it's broken. It's the first broken thing I'm going to say.
Yeah. If that's the way it ends up going.
On that combination, it's broken. Otherwise, it's rubbish. Sword of Justice. This is a really good one. So strength of the user, -1 AP, Armor Bane 1, magical attacks, multiple wounds 2. You also get reroll fail rolls to wound. So you already say strength 4. But you could also buff that with a spell. Demonology I've been using in my games so far. I really like Demonology. You've got that +1 toughness, +1 strength, +1 attack from memory. I can't remember the name of the spell. I think that's a really good one. AP2 if you get Armor Bane, but it is multiple wounds. It's good against monsters with say 3-4 up armor saves.
Yep.
The Dragon Bow, one of my favorite items in the game. It's in every list, and I'm going to go through my combo for it now. So the Dragon Bow is multiple wounds 2, strength 6, AP2, 36-inch range. Can only be taken by commanders of the Empire, captains, or generals. When I was first writing lists, I was writing it on a captain, on a Pegasus, until someone pointed out they only have 2 attacks. On Friday, I ran... So I played against I took a gun line because I was like, you know what? I've never run a gun line in my life. I'm going to take a gun line. I actually came up against a Wood Elf bow line that had more shooting than I did. This guy, he held up an entire flank single-handedly. Well, he had the help of 5 skirmishing archers that scouted and 4 skirmishing outriders, which we'll come to those in a bit later. Yep. So this guy has 183 points. He is a general of the Empire with the Dragon Bow, full plate armor, a lance, and shield on a horse. He also has a brace of pistols, and he has one of the common items, the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and a shield. So for 183 points, at range, you get one shot at ballistic skill 5. That is strength 6. Short range is only 18. To be in short range is 18 inches. Pretty good. And it's multiple wounds 2. So if you've got, say, a giant another kind of big monster, no armor. That guy's gold, especially with the ruby ring, because you can sort of keep him outside of dispel range. He gets a free bound spell every turn to do 2d6 strength 4 hits. I love the dragon bow. And then the brace of pistols makes him even more, for 10 points. You can switch between which one you're going to use in the shooting phase. And so the idea is that you use the dragon bow against stuff if you want to shoot from range, and against big stuff, i.e. monstrous infantry, monstrous cavalry, anything that's got multiple wounds, basically, because you do multi-wounds too. Then if you get stuff like fast cav, you then switch to the pistol at short range, and then you get 2 shots, strength 4, AP 1, armor bane 1. Again, ballistic skill 5 with quick shot. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so, on Friday night, he took care of, what was it? He did 4, so from the Treekin, I think, have 4 wounds each now. He did, what was it? 7 wounds. So there's 3 Treekin. He did 7 wounds in 1 round of the shooting phase against them. Against a unit of Warhawk riders, it was a unit of 3 with a level 2 mage and a Warhawk. He left the mage and the Warhawk champion on 1 wound apiece. That was the shooting phase before. There was a unit of wild riders, 5 of them that got around my flank. They dealt with a unit of outriders that just completely fluffed their shooting, and there was 4 of them. And so I killed one of them with a pistol in the shooting phase instead of charging. And then he charged me, and there was 4 left. I stand in, because you can always stand and shoot now with pistols, even if they're beyond 12 inches.
Right.
Which is incredible.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, because they changed rules to stand and shoot. You no longer have to actually be in range. So it ignores the range. So brace of pistols on any character that you're expecting that could potentially get charged, 10 points, always take them. And so he killed 1 when he got charged, and there was a unit champion. So I got charged. I declared a challenge. He did no wounds, 2 up armor save. And then I killed the champion. I got 1 wound for combat res, but he didn't break, got pushed back or whatever. And then next turn he killed the rest of them. Now that they're off the charge, so that guy he's going to be in every single list.
Yeah,
with the 360-degree line of sight, he's 183 points, and I think if he works in tandem with a unit of, say, outriders and a unit of scouting archers, I think he can really just hold a flank on his own. And then it means that, I don't have to commit much. I think, to be honest, he could actually, depending on what's on the flank, hold the flank on his own without the support of anything else. Like for 183 points, he's so flexible. I love him. Put him in your list, people. That's
now you're modeling him up with all that then as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the dragon bow on his back and stuff or something. Yeah. Cool. That's going to look good.
Awesome. So I'm also going to model up the same on a griffin. Cool. Armor. So armor of fortune. Suit of heavy armor, 6 up ward save against wounds suffered, and is immune to killing blow. If the wearer is struck with killing blow, they're permitted armor and regen saves as normal. If the wound is unsaved, they lose a single wound. So you don't get auto killed, which is not bad. But it is 45 points. I don't know. Heavy armor, shield, barding. It's only a 3 up armor save. You are immune to killing blow. It is situational. It's good, but it is situational. Yeah. Armor of Tarnus. It's back again, so it's light armor. Can be worn by an Imperial wizard, even if they don't have the option to be equipped, without penalty, and so they can still cast. They also get a 5 up ward save. Yeah. So if you're not taking the mace and the law, you could also take the mace and that
and this, because 35 and 65.
But then you've got to reliably roll.
Yes, roll, because you don't get the law familiar or whatever it is. Yeah.
So that's armor. I've only got the 2. Armor of metric iron actually became a generic.
Yeah. That changed a little bit though. Was that the one that you always used to be 2+? Oh yeah, it probably went to 3+ or something. Used
to be a 1 up.
Oh, 1 up, was it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, now it's a 3 up. So talismans, you've got the white cloak, 5-up ward save, and a 3-up ward save against any wounds suffered that have flaming attacks. The Jade Amulet, bearer is immune to the Killing Blow special rule. If the bearer is struck by Killing Blow, they're permitted an armor save and regen as normal. If the wound is unsaved, they lose a single wound. I think you're better off not taking Armor of Fortune.
Yeah, exactly. Use
that.
a different armor and just take this as a talisman so you can combo it up. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-up with that instead if you want immune to Killing Blow. Banners, Imperial Banner. This is pretty good, to be honest. This is actually very good. If you're going to take a BSB, it's the only time I'll take a captain is for this. So I think if I was taking a state troop build, I would have it's auto include and with this standard. So all friendly units within command range of the model carrying the Imperial Banner roll 3d6 when making a fear, panic, or terror test, so minimized because they discard the highest result. It's basically like the old lizard man, cold-blooded.
Yep. And then you got the Griffin standard again.
Yeah, Griffin standard +2 for each rank bonus rather than usual +1. I think if you're going state troops,
are they
veterans, you've got the Imperial Banner and the Griffin standard, you can actually get a static res 7 unit.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Which is pretty cool. If you put the BSB in the unit. And then, War Banner.
Wow. War Banner, but
Yeah, War Banner.
Hang on, are state troops not Horde? Is there any Horde? No, it's only like militia. Or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That'd be funny.
So you would take War Banner, BSB, Banner.
Normal Banner, and then there's 4.
And then Griffin standard +4. Yeah, 7. Yep. And if you've got the captain with a brace of pistols.
Oh, yeah, for stand and shoot, you might get one or two. Yeah. Oh, well, then you got detachments as well, hanging off the edge of it. So, yeah.
We won't talk about the fact that they've, bastardized detachments and given them to everyone, but that's cool. That's cool. The Gleaming Pennant, single use. A unit carrying the Gleaming Pennant may reroll a single failed leadership test, not break tests, obviously. Look, you might take it on a unit that's not veteran, but I think you're better off upgrading the unit to veterans, like for one use only versus being able to do it all the time. Banner of Duty, unit carrying the Banner of Duty may reroll any failed rally test. Again, I think you're better off upgrading to veterans, but good on a unit that can't take it.
Yeah.
Laurels of Victory. So this, I'll go through my next cheeky build. So what I'm looking at for this, so Laurels of Victory, when determining combat result, each unsaved wound caused by an attack made by the bearer of the Laurels of Victory is worth 2 combat result points rather than the usual 1. So it's by the bearer, not by the model, unfortunately. 40 points. I think it's very good. It's not broken. You can use it on either a Grandmaster or a General is, what your intention is for, but you double your combat res. So then you think about that state troop block. If you've got a General in there on foot, or the General can still go in a horse on the end of the unit.
Yeah. Well, he can be in it because they're all 25s now. Oh no, the horse is 36. Yeah, 30 by 60.
Yeah, horse is bigger.
He could go on a he can go on a demigriff because they're 50 by 75, so you can put them in there.
Can you do that?
Yeah, because these are just a cav. You can just put them on.
You're a bad man. That means you can put a Grandmaster
in there on a demigriff with that.
Oh, okay. I hadn't thought of that.
Because it's the same. It's the exact same footprint, 50 by 75, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Plus, then you're getting better rank bonus too because he's taken up place of 6. So it's easier to get that rank bonus.
And he takes up base contact models too for potential.
And
you don't actually have to be as wide. Okay. I hadn't even thought of that. That's genius. So Laurels of Victory, I'm now changing my build completely and I'm putting a Grandmaster and a Demigriff inside a unit of state troops. But what I'm looking at is, and look, I kind of stole this. I'm not going to claim, props for it, but Sword of Justice with Sword of Justice or Ogre Blade with, actually, no, I don't think you can take Ogre Blade because I think Ogre Blade is 65 points.
Yeah. It's the giant blade. That's less. Yeah. But it's only it's Emma. It's two wounds, multi wounds 2, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so the idea is you go Laurels of Victory with the Sword of Justice or the Dragon Blade, what it's called, the one Giant Blade. Sorry.
Giant Blade. Yeah.
And then you put him on a Griffin. 2-up armor save. 3-up heavy armor. Sorry, plate armor, shield. 3-up armor save. And he basically becomes a character killer. If you can pair him with stuff like the Dragon Bow, you plink a couple of wounds off, you get that guy to charge in. Now, where the Laurels of Victory come in is it doubles the combat res for the wounds that model causes. So, yeah, I think it's quite cool because it means that you can potentially beat those monsters from the enemy side. You just need him to survive to be able to swing. Silver Horn, I think this is a good one. 15 points. Characters with the Swift Stride special only. The bearer of the Silver Horn may reroll the D6 when using a Swift Stride special rule. I did use this the other night.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Okay.
I rolled a 3 and then I rolled a 2.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. That's like that's what I was thinking with going off a tangent here, but is the Tomb King? You got that Tomb King what's it called? Armor of Ages? Is it the one that you reroll? Make people reroll your wounds against you? And I was thinking, like, when you put him on you put him on the dragon, and then when they're trying to monster kill you, you get them to reroll their 6s. But I was like, okay, there's probably people coming in with strength who are wounding on 5s, and now they're re-rolling that, and then maybe getting 6s anyway. So it's like,
you got to be careful with that because if they you basically would let them have the wound unless they roll a 6. But there's a chance
you have to re-roll all of them. On the app, it says must re-roll all successful.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you Swift Stride though, because it always seems a bit confusing. You don't have to add that D6, do you? It's a may add?
Yep.
Okay.
And
cool.
you don't have to declare it until you've seen your roll either.
Okay, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's nothing, again, it's one of those where there's nothing to say that you have to do it in that.
So, because in the game I just played with Andrew, my general on Wyvern failed. He'd rolled double 1s to charge. And so we didn't know we weren't sure if you're even supposed to add Swift Stride to that. So we just went 1. So, like he rolled 2 1s for his normal charge, and then I think I rolled a 6. I did for the Swift Stride. So he went an inch forward, but he would have gone 7. Is that right? Because I have rolled the 1. Yeah, I had rolled the Swift Stride. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so you're saying you can roll your double 1s. You probably would potentially in that case elect not to do the Swift Stride because they just fail the charge and stay an inch. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Correct.
Okay, I'm getting the rules slowly. It's sinking.
Yeah, the best advice actually, just quickly on that I can give people. So when I picked up 6th edition again last year, I made a point of rereading the rulebook cover to cover. Admittedly, this book is bigger, but it doesn't actually take as long as you think. It probably takes 2 or 3 hours. And then I would religiously do that before any tournament you play. The good thing about if you're flying to tournaments in Australia anyway, if you're listening overseas, is Australia is a huge landmass. It's like the 3rd biggest country or 2nd biggest country in the world. And as a result, our flights, to the local, interstate tournament is 3 hours sometimes. So it could even be 5 hours you're flying to Perth. Or if you're flying from Tasmania to, I don't know, if the tournament in Darwin. Yeah. But I generally tend to try and read the rulebook cover to cover before a tournament because that repetition of memory really helps. So that's just something that I would recommend to people. It will help you. All right, Shroud of Iron. Shroud of Iron. The bearer of the Shroud and any unit they have joined has a 6-up ward save against wounds suffered. Wow, I'm really...
It's getting late. It's all good. Don't worry.
I swear I'm not drunk.
Non-magical template.
Wounds suffered that were caused by non-magical templates.
What's that? War machines?
Yeah, basically.
And a giant falling over on your head.
Yeah. Although I don't know if cannons are considered a template. I haven't actually looked at that yet in the rulebook. Book of Asher. So this is 85 points. This is an arcane item. The bearer of the Book of Asher increases their dispel range by 3, and unless they roll any natural double, may apply a +1 modifier to any of their casting or dispel rolls. However, if the bearer rolls any natural double when making a casting or dispel roll, the book is proven to be a poor reproduction, full of glaring errors, and the +1 modifier cannot be applied to the roll. Look, I actually think that's a pretty good item. Maybe slightly overcosted.
A bit overpriced. Because I think the orcs have a couple of these type of things that help you, boot your boost your dispel range and add +1 and stuff. And I don't think they're 85.
Yeah, it's pretty steep. Wizard's Familiar, 0 to 1 per wizard. The owner of a Wizard's Familiar may apply a +1 modifier to any dispel roll. It's not bad for level 4 because you can pair that with a Lore Familiar, giving you, pick your spells with +1 to dispel. Wizard Staff, the bearer of the Wizard Staff gains a +1 modifier to their casting roll when attempting to cast an assailment or magic missile. I used this the other night and I actually dropped it because I kind of realized, look, there's only, like, most laws have, some of them have 2 magic missiles, some of them have 2 assailments, and then, then one of the other. I don't think it's as good as it, I think it's fairly costed for 20 points, but yeah, it's not like the old days where you could get a lore that's just like 5 magic missiles.
Yeah.
Getting, really, really good value for money.
Use out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, that's the items. I think there's some really good ones. I think there's some situational, and I think there's some bang average ones.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. We were going to smash through these infantry then, Empire State Troops. So they've joined all these together, which I do like.
Yeah, you don't do the old core, like it's all split now between infantry.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. So I mean, we'll just go through the infantry cav if that's cool. Yep. We'll just have to remember what they are. What do you think that they're pretty much? In terms of stats, I think they're pretty much the same, aren't they? But the cool thing is I found that I like how they've just joined them in a way, because then you can choose how you want to build them, if you know what I mean. Because was it Swordsman used to be the weapon skill 4 guys and that was it, and then everything else was 3? Yeah,
and initiative 4 they used to be.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so look, I look at this and I've been actually running Halberdiers because I haven't built my Spearmen yet, and I actually quite like the Halberdiers. Right. I've been running a unit of 20.
Are you doing them as the veteran ones that you have to take?
Yeah, veteran. Yeah. Yep, with a shield, so you can. And then I just don't see a point in ever taking Swordsman, and I'll explain why. So, in the rare case that I'm going to actually utilize my armor save, I can switch from a spear or a halberd to using a hand weapon and shield and get the +1 armor. I think the fact that you no longer have any kind of parry really makes swordsmen just look. I think they're all right as a detachment because they're the cheaper. You don't have to pay a point. So for a detachment that's, and I'll go through some of the detachment builds in a second, but I think swordsmen, anyone that takes swordsman in blocks, I just don't think it's worth it, because for 1 point extra, you get a unit that's way more versatile and flexible. Yeah. I think I look at thrusting spears as probably the optimal choice for an anvil. I've been running an anvil of halberds with the Griffin banner, and it's been quite good, but I've only been doing that because I haven't built the build that
and stuff. I
haven't built everything yet. Yeah. I mean, the difference between veterans, so veteran state troopers are weapon skill 4. The other stats are the same as, that's literally the only thing you get. Plus you get the veteran special rule keyword. So human stats across the board, leadership 7. I would have liked to see the veteran state troop champion go to leadership 8 maybe. But again, then captains become redundant. So 1 point of model, halberds or thrusting spears for either unit. Full command as normal. You can upgrade veterans to drilled, and you can purchase a magic standard for veterans up to 50 points. And the sergeant of a veteran unit can have 25 points of magic items. State troops have close order, detachment, and regimental units. Veterans have close order, detachment, regimental unit, and veteran. Now, one thing I need to check is on the detachment rules, but I'm pretty sure that you confer your special rules to your detachment as long as they're within 3 inches.
Pretty sure, because that's people. Because that's why you take great swords potentially, because they're stubborn, and then the detachments are stubborn. Is that right?
Yeah, but you can also do it with veterans.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yep.
So you can take, and I think the optimal, if I was running, when I do run state troops, will now be a Grand Master on a Demigriff. Thanks, gommo. With the Laurels of Victory, the White Cloak, or just the Laurels of Victory, and I'll work something out so he can kill stuff. Probably probably 24 spearmen, Griffin standard, full command shields. Then I would probably take a detachment of 12 halberdiers with shields. And then I would probably take 6 handgunners as a detachment to shoot, or I would just take 2 detachments of halberdiers with the same, especially if your halberdiers become weapon skill 4. I think that's probably the optimal, something like that for, or crossbows, either one for your other detachment if you're going missiles. Veterans, they're not cheap, but at the same time, it's 1 point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not much. Look, I actually disagree with a lot of people, and I think infantry still have a place in this edition. I think because it's a war of attrition. Our cavalry, in the right place, going to win most combats? Yes. However, being a war of attrition, I don't think massive units of infantry are the way to go, but I don't think small units, unless they're elite, are the way to go. I think you probably want somewhere between 24 and 30 for a unit like state troops, especially if it's an amble. But like I was saying before, you can get a static res of 7, and you can buff that then with characters. You can get, the warrior priests and, Ulrich prayers and all that kind of stuff on them. I think you can make a good anvil with veteran state troops. I don't think they're dead. And I think people need to play more games. Look, they're not going to be as mobile, but I think they still have a place.
Yeah. Cool. And they've done the same things with the state troops. Obviously, you just got the 2 choices, isn't it? Crossbows or handguns are extra +1.
Yes.
They're all the standard stats, I think.
Well,
so the cool thing here, which is yeah, you're right.
I was just going to add something. So one idea that I've been using now, Empire don't really have any access because Pistoliers and Outriders are now skirmishers. You don't really have any access to redirectors, or so you thought. Actually, no, I'm going to save that point, and we're going to go through it when we go through great swords, because there's a couple of different ideas that you can use out there, people. Okay, as you were, Gommo. Apologies.
I was just going to say, I don't think you could do this before, where you could have like crossbows with your champ having like
Correct.
a Hochland. Is that right? Yeah. So is that change? Yep. Yeah, cool. So that's what I like. I know it's a bit lazy joining everything together, but it's giving you flexibility, which is pretty cool. And my crossbow is actually modelled that way, which is just the way the figures ended up. And I was like, oh, cool. Now I can take him. Cool.
Yeah, so I built my 20 handgunners, which are Norn Ironsides, to have the champions with repeater handguns, and my crossbows will have Hochland long rifles.
Right.
And I'll have 20 of each. I can pick and choose. It gives me enough to run detachments, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm doing. But yes, you're 100% right. And I think so. I've played with handgunners so far. I used crossbows the other night, but they just got obliterated by Wood Elf shooting. I did manage to win that game, but it was early on. The first turn just decimated a lot of stuff. So I think the challenge is the handguns. Like in 6th edition, you had the extra D6 range in the first turn, so you could always usually shoot.
Yep.
I'm now actually starting to lean towards crossbows. On an armor bane roll, they're the same AP, but crossbows have an extra 6-inch range. On a non-armor bane roll, the handguns have the upper hand on AP, being AP2 natural. On an armor bane roll, crossbows are AP2, but on a non-armor bane roll, they're AP0.
Right. Okay. They don't even get 1. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so they're armor bane 2. No, wait. I think I might actually be getting that wrong as well. Hold
on. I got
crossbow.
the BBB here, but yeah.
Yeah, they'll be in the rule book. I may have just completely messed that up.
Weapons.
Yeah. Oh, you're bringing it up, are you?
Just next to me here. Spears, throwing spears. Cross handguns are 4 - 1 armor bane 1, and crossbows are. Where's the crossbow?
The armor bane 2.
Armor bane 2. Yeah, you're right. 4, and then ponderous. And is handguns ponderous? Yeah, they are. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So no, you had it right. So basically, you're getting no armor piercing at all, unless you're rolling the 6. Yeah.
So I part of me says that I think if you're taking detachments, I think handguns are probably better because you're probably going to be moving. And And so it's okay if you miss a round of shooting, because really the detachment's only there to get combat res for you.
Yeah.
Or to redirect if you get pulled out of position and you need to move the handguns, into a better position. I think if you're looking for a unit that's going to sit back on a hill or something like that in 2 ranks, I think crossbows with a Hochland are probably better. But again, you also, they're somewhat situational now because of the, like AP1, Armor Bane 1 versus Armor Bane 2. They've definitely been toned down a little bit. They can also be drilled, which is interesting, which I'll go through it again. You can purchase a magic standard. You can also put a wizard in there that can increase their strength of their weapon with demonology. They unfortunately don't get or does it increase their AP? Or they get one or not the other with that spell. So that's them. Free Company Militia. They're like cheapish, 6 points a model.
2 attacks basically, isn't it? Because of the 2 hand weapons. Yeah.
3 for the champ. You can take a champion but nothing else. Detachment, Horde, Impetuous, which makes me go, no, I don't want to take them. They're levies. Open. They are levies though, so in some ways they are good for that. Open order.
Is that the one where when no one cares, they run away?
Yeah, basically insignificant. Yeah. So look, I probably wouldn't take them. I have 3 boxes of the militia. I'm using them for kit bashing because I think they're great models.
Yeah, great. If they bring these out again, I'll definitely buy some because exactly, they were one of the best kit bashing tool models. Everyone used them for Mordenheim, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
we're going to move to, in my opinion, one of the 2 units that are really good in core. Empire Archers.
Yeah, I've got a heap of these.
Yeah, so I've actually kit bashed mine for using like state troop heads, a couple of the archers from 8th edition, but then using the militia for the rest. I built 15, so the idea is I can run 1 big unit, a couple of medium-sized units, or 3 units of 5. What I really like about them is you can use them as a detachment, but I'm not going to do that. They move through cover because they're a skirmisher. Open order, Vanguard, and they have Scout. See, why I like these guys, especially in a competitive list, is the flexibility for 1 point a model that I can give them Scout. So 5 of them is 40 points. I'm potentially march blocking on turn 1. You can't Vanguard if you Scout, but it means as well that I have flexibility.
Is that true?
Yeah, you can't Vanguard if you do a scouting move.
Okay, because I thought someone was saying it's changing this, but maybe they got it wrong.
Yeah, if you read, it's in. I think it's. I can't remember if it's in Scout or if it's in Vanguard.
It's in one of them, is it? Yeah. Damn, I was wondering about that because someone mentioned that, and I went, I'll have to check that, but I forgot to do it.
Yeah, I was looking at basically scouting. Then, if you get first turn, you Vanguard. Then you got first turn, you move. Now you're behind or next to them, and you're basically march blocking from turn 1 if you get turn 1. But no, unfortunately, you can't do that. It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
So, like, what I like about them is deployment with Empire. I think is really, really critical. Unless you're going an all cav army, and even then, it is still important. So you can choose when you see your opponent's list in a competitive game and go, okay, am I going to scout? What's your, how many drops do they have? And you decide, okay, I am going to scout because, you've only got a couple of drops. I'm going to lose anyway. Or you go, actually, it's really critical that I get the right matchups of units in this game. I'm not going to scout. And that's my first 3 deployments. Then I can Vanguard. Obviously, it's only a 4-inch Vanguard. But then, using them for pulling out stuff that's impetuous or frenzied and just being annoying. And you can also use them as screens.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah. I just looked. I didn't see in those 2 rules any mention of the other 2 rules, unless it's somewhere else.
I'm trying to remember if it is somewhere else.
But anyway, well, I just made it. People listening can check that, and maybe by then we'll know.
I think if you look at, I don't think it's listed in the special rule. I think it's listed in the the game, the deployment.
The actual deployment thing where it says you deploy your scouts, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, probably is. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at that later.
But yeah, because I was looking at doing that too, and you can't unfortunately do it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, archers, I think they're great. I'll be looking at 2 or 3 units probably in every list I build, and I also think they're really cool models. But yeah, very versatile. Do you want to then continue on with infantry or go into special?
Just go straight through. Yeah. So I'll just go in the order that I've got here.
Great swords. Look, a lot of people say great swords are dead because of the nerf to stubborn. Now, I agree in big blocks. However, I think units of 6 or 7 with a champion definitely have a place. If you upgrade them to drilled for 2 points a model, so they become 13 points a model, and you take a unit of 6 with a champion or a unit of 7 with a champion, you get a reliable redirector that can march 12 inches in the first turn.
Get up there.
Because they're drilled, they can then redress their ranks at the start of your next turn. And the beauty of them also, if you keep them in marching column, you don't
care about your rank bonus anyway. So
you don't care about your rank
charge. Bonus. You're getting charged, so you don't give a shit.
Yep. And if you really you could also be janky. I need to read the rules on champions and how this interacts, but you could do the old single line with a champion at the front, the dart. So you're in marching column, right? You got 6 of them. You could even probably do it with 5, to be honest.
I think because you wouldn't have a standard. If you don't have a standard, you could put the champ in the front. Is that right? Because
Yep.
I think the standard has got to go in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. If you take a musician, you obviously can't do it either. So you just take a champion, no musician. Now, that little, if you run them like that with 5, you put them in marching column in 1. It's basically a single line. 5 files, no rank. So just the champion with 4 guys behind him. Now they can march 12 inches if you do that. If you need a redress to redirect, you can, and it would still work. But the idea here is a single character cannot charge that unit because if he does, you're going to challenge the single character.
Yeah,
your champion will
give ground,
and you'll no, it's not give ground. It's fullback in good order.
Oh, it is fullback. Okay, yeah.
But it means that you reliably can redirect a unit for less than 100 points. And you know somewhere within 6 inches where the enemy unit is going to end up.
Yeah.
And so I think great swords it's probably not intended. I think the other thing too, if you're taking that 5, 6, 7 unit with a champion, depending on your build and depending on what you're playing against, again they become flexible because you can use them as a flanking unit that can actually pack a little bit of a punch. But I think the idea of big blocks of great swords, I just don't know why you would waste the points when you can get that with core units that take up your core tax. I think the other option is you can also take detachments that can achieve the same thing. I've been running a detachment of 10 swordsmen with my halberdiers. In a couple of games, I used them to do the triple march, triple move in marching columns. I did it in the last game too, actually, and I put a wizard in there. And I used it as a bunker. So
right,
yeah.
But with the normal swordsmen though, they wouldn't have stubborn though, is that right? So then they
correct. Yeah.
But
They
you're only worried about the bigger units hitting them and then not auto breaking, but
Well, so with the swordsmen, I would run them if I was going to run them like this. I would only take 5 in a detachment, and they're purely just to redirect.
Yeah,
nothing else.
Yeah.
Just as a redirector. Cool. That's them. Now, the best infantry unit in the entire book is the flagellants. Flagellants are incredible. They are 13 points a model, same as drilled greatswords. Weapon skill 3, 1 attack. They are toughness 3, so similar to what they always have been. Hand weapons and flails. They can have a Prophet of Doom or a champion. Prophet of Doom, which is their champion, and a standard bearer. They have close order, fanatical zeal, feel no pain, furious charge, which is huge. If on the rare occasion you do get the charge, they get an extra attack. Immune to psychology, impetuous, hatred, all enemies. They hate everyone equally. and they're unbreakable.
Yeah.
So again, for me, this is a unit that an anvil that you can rely on that is only ever going to move back 2 inches. They're not unstable. They don't lose any more models. I think if you're going to do it, you probably need to go big.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm looking at like 26,
because they're going to
27.
die in droves.
Correct.
Aren't they? Yeah.
But this is the thing: if you put a warrior priest of Sigmar, because you now can, they have a fanatical zeal rule, and the priest now gains unbreakable by joining the unit. You can take a 5-up ward save in the shooting phase.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm thinking,
now getting up there. Now you can't kill me until you charge me. Yeah. All right.
Correct. Yeah. And you can also put them in marching columns. And you just march them 12 inches, or you move them up 12 inches in the first turn. Maybe you have to redress your ranks in the second turn, but, I think you're probably going to run them 8 or 10 wide. You don't need the rank bonus. They are literally just there as an anvil. If they kill some stuff, great, but it's something your opponent has to deal with. So I think they're really good for that. They also have Feel No Pain. So they basically have the Bretonian ward save for all attacks that are non-magical. So, you can get from range the 5-up in the shooting phase, or if you pass the leadership test, and then you can go 6-up ward save, 5-up ward save against strength 5, 6-up against everything else, but there can't be magical attacks. So, I think it's quite good.
Great weapons go up against them. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're really good. So, means they can fight things and actually have a chance of, it's not guaranteed your opponent's just going to kill them in droves because of that. If you, with hatred as well, and if you put a warrior priest of Sigmar in there, you can get hatred in the first round of combat. So you're re-rolling failed rolls to hit if you do get to attack, and then re-roll ones to wound. Strength 5. Yeah. If you get the charge, that is actually a scary proposition because depending on how wide your opponent is, you could be getting anywhere between 10 and 17 attacks.
Yeah.
So, I think they are one of the best units in the book. Very, very big fan. That's all the infantry done.
That's good. You need to see them back. I didn't see them much in 8th, I don't think.
Yeah.
So. Cool. Yes, Cav, the sad ones, Pistoliers. I feel like. Well, it's not sad. It's just that we're going to see the other version of them now. We never saw Outriders in 8th, I think, or one of them.
Yeah, look.
It's just the impetuousness of these, isn't it?
Yeah, look, the problem is that, so Pistoliers are 16 points. Human stats, they're leadership 6, Outriders leadership 7. Although if you take the veteran, you get leadership 7 in the Pistoliers. They're only ballistic skill 3. They still have the 2 pistols. They've got countercharge, fast cavalry, fire and flee, open order, skirmishes, swift stride, and the worst part is impetuous. The other thing too is they removed the shooting. So I wouldn't mind them being impetuous if they still had the 2 pistol shots when
you went into combat. Yeah.
But they don't have that anymore. And so I'm like, okay, you gave them a fluff thing, but then you took away something that's always been there. And I think the impetuous with that kind of balanced it. Like they're probably the worst unit in the book, in my opinion. And the reason is because of the impetuous, but also the Outriders do their job better and they're more flexible.
Yeah. Do you think with not so much with these guys, but in general, can you get around impetuous? Like with these ones, for example, and I don't know if you'd want to do this, but you could just keep them in open order, right, and not skirmish. So then you at least don't have your 360 line of sight, which means you might be able to.
I didn't even realize you can actually run them in open order or skirmish. I thought they were automatically skirmishes.
No, I think you can do either because they're just both formations.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can actually still use them as redirectors then.
Yeah. But I mean, the problem is fast cav is not fast cav like it used to be in terms of well, what is it? You just get you'd move normally, but you can do your 90-degree pivot at the end.
Pivot at the end
after a march. Yeah.
Yep.
So they're not doing the big. So again, doesn't save them, but I was just wondering if that is an option.
I think the challenge. I think
you're right. These guys do it better wherever they.
And the reason Outriders do it better is one simple thing. Well, apart from not being impetuous, is. And I actually didn't pick this up. But the key here is that Outriders actually come with a pistol. So Outriders have a repeater handgun and a single pistol each.
Right.
So the thing is, Outriders are more flexible because they can do both roles. I can use them as a mobile, and again, especially if I'm talking from a competitive tournament setting, I get a unit for an extra 3 points a model that is leadership 7 base. I don't need to upgrade to a champion to get that. They're ballistic skill 4. They come with a single pistol. Yes, they don't have 2 like the Pistoliers, but they come with 1. So I've got a unit that, and they Vanguard as well. So I've got a unit that can Vanguard, which means I'm in range, which then tells me I don't need to take handgunners. I'm better off spending my points in my core on other things. And I can Vanguard into range with my repeater handguns, which means I'm only hitting on 5s, unless they're skirmishes or something like that. Because long range and the repeating, because I'm ballistic skill 4. Or I can march and then get them into a position that they can march, block, harass, annoy, and then I can get them up close, and I can use a pistol at short range with quick shot and ballistic skill 4, potentially hitting on 3s.
3s, yeah.
So, I just don't understand why you would even look at Pistoliers, to be honest, unless you're playing fluff. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
It's sad. But it's good to see the Outriders being used too, so that's good.
Yeah.
I need to paint mine up. I've only got Pistoliers painted. Cool.
See, what I've done, Gommo, is I've done a mixed unit. So I've got 5 of each, and because they have pistols and repeater handguns, I'm actually running them in units of 4, and I built 2 musicians, armed with a pistol and a musician, one guy armed with 2 pistols, and then 2 guys armed with repeater handguns with cloaks. And I kit bashed the Pistoliers to have the militia, a lot of militia bits to them, and then the Outriders that just look like Outriders. And so I find then if Pistoliers, there's a re-release or something like that, or there's some kind of special unit of Pistoliers in,
you can still use them. Yeah.
Yeah, I can run Pistoliers, but I can run 2 units of Outriders doing that because they've got the pistol.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cavalry. Next cavalry unit. So this is probably, it's up there with the archers. They're the 2 best core units, Empire Knights. So you no longer have you can use save. You no longer have 1-up armor save. Now
that's okay.
This is where the like what I was talking about before. I actually think Empire Knights with a musician and a champion, 4 of them, because you can take them in a unit of 4, make them stubborn because you can. For 2 points a model. Now they will become a little bit expensive. Then they're 23 points a model, but it's only 4, so it's under 100 points, and that's your chaff. Because you can put them in marching columns, and you basically just run on the first turn. You're running up 21 inches. If you give them, you give them drilled as well. So then, starting your next turn, they can redress back into a line. But I think they're your new, like a really good redirector. I think they're also a good wizard bunker if you're not running a wizard that's flying.
Yep.
And you don't even need to actually have the wizard in the unit. He just needs to be within 3 and have them, obviously the unit needs to be a bit bigger then to take advantage of lone character. Yeah. But yeah, I think they're really good. Same principle before as what I was saying with the great swords, but the best thing is they come out of core and they're quicker, and they've got a better armor save. And if you do need to charge something, they've got a higher unit strength to potentially disrupt. So, I probably would take knights in units of 4 or 5 with a champion and musician over a unit of great swords. They're just a little bit more expensive to do the same job, but it comes out of your core tax instead of your special.
Yeah, they got first charge, which is good. Not all cav get that, eh? That's just the good knights get that. Yeah.
Yeah, close order, counter charge, first charge, and swift stride. I think they're a great unit. I don't know if I'd ever run big units anymore. I think it would be between 4 and 6.
Yeah, I reckon. Well, then you're also getting more use out of that close order potentially as well. If you are ended up, coming in the flank, like you're saying, like as a, like you do your chaff. If you've got 1 left, a couple left, well, not 1 left, you need 2 left, I guess. Come back, add some extra ranks, X and CR.
Yeah, I think units of 4 to 6 with stubborn, really good unit because you can reliably, again, know that a unit's going to be in a certain place, an enemy unit. Inner Circle Knights. On paper, I actually didn't think they were that good, but I've used them with a Warrior Priest of Sigmar. I thought they were excellent. I had a game against a Bretonnian player. They took care of 3 units of Knights on their own. So Leadership 9 for 1, which in this edition is huge. The Strength 4 base. They also can have they come with full plate armor, so 2 up armor save, which again in this edition is massive. They're better than, they've got a better save than all Bretonnian Knights, including Grail Knights, if you have a Priest of Sigmar and you get that 5 up ward save from shooting.
Did you end up giving
you can have great weapons
or lances when you had the priest in there?
I've run lances because yes, you get a 2 up armor save from shooting if you take the great weapon. I'm just not a fan of forsaking a 2 up armor save to go to 3 up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of AP2, and that means I've only got a 5 up save. And there's a lot of, AP1 armor bane 1 or armor bane 2.
So that's the thing. Yeah.
You've got to reliably know that and they're only initiative 4, so they're max initiative 7. So if you go the great weapon, your max initiative is 4.
4. Yeah, well, 5 if you're in the flank. Yeah, is it
5 if you've got a buff?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're actually a really, really good unit because they also have reroll 1s of natural 1 to hit in combat. Yeah. So yeah, really good.
This
unit.
is the one you were saying with the Warrior Priest they get hatred in that first. Does the Warrior Priest gives them hate?
No, they don't get hatred. Flagellants have hatred.
Right,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and then Demigryphs. Are you running these?
So demis. It's funny. I actually in the list I've written for the first tournament I'm going to, I don't have either Inner Circle Knights or Demigryph Knights. I think there's certain character choices that do the role better, but these are your proper shock cavalry. They're only leadership 8. I've always found it interesting. I would think fluff-wise, someone riding a Demigryph would be like the inner circle of the inner circle. Yeah. So they are strength 4 based.
The other ones are all 9 now, aren't they? We just went through. That's funny.
Well, surely a Demigryph would be expensive. Imagine how trying to feed that thing. So they're strength 4 base for the actual knight. Leadership 8 though. 1 attack like they always have been. Initiative 4. But you're paying for the Demigryph itself. So especially you think Demigryphs have 3 attacks each, strength 5, AP2. They cause fear, which means you mitigate fear. They've got countercharge, first charge, swift stride. You pair that with the silver horn or the rampaging standard for either reroll charge. You can do both actually, reroll charge and reroll the swift stride. But they've got countercharge, which I really like. You can run them in units of 2 to 12. Look, I don't think it's worth going over 3. Maybe 4, just so you can, they're still reliably going to do some damage if you lose one. I think 3 if you're taking a character in there. Otherwise, they become a bit unwieldy. But yeah, I think they're a really good unit. I'm building 2 units of 3, but I'm making it so that I can run them as I could run 1 unit. I could run 1 unit of 4, 1 unit of 6, or I could run 2 3s, and then I'm converting the others to be characters. So that's the demis. Steam tank.
Where would you go? Missed it. There he is. Yep.
So the interesting thing is you can actually take a decent sized unit of flagellants, some over 15 flagellants, and a steam tank in the same list. The only other thing they compete with is the Hellblaster. I've ordered one, but I think it's kind of a crutch, and it always has been to a lot of people. And so again, I want to challenge. I'm trying to build lists with. I don't think I've actually wrote a list yet that includes one. Mine's still on its way from Games Workshop. So they are strength 6, toughness 7 with 10 wounds, only 265 points. It also comes with an engineer as well, which is I'm assuming the engineer gets the normal engineer special rules.
I mean, he's probably going to move away from the other things, but can you re-roll the steam cannons?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure because I don't know if it's War Machine. Let's have a look. What does the rule say?
Because the chariot.
So, a friendly Empire War Machine. It's a chariot, not a war machine.
Yeah,
you can't. I don't think. But yeah, so basically the way it works. So close order, grinding wheels, immune to psych, impact hits D6 +1 because it's a heavy chariot, large target, steam power. It's got a D3 +1 stomp, temperamental, terror, unbreakable. It's not a behemoth. It is a heavy chariot. So in terms of the stomps, you just got to bear that in mind. The engineer can take a Hock long rifle, pigeon bombs, or a repeater pistol. Interesting, you can't take the blunderbuss because I think that would be pretty cool. The stomp attacks made by a steam tank have an armor-piercing characteristic of -2. However, this rule cannot be used against models whose troop type is behemoth. They are simply too large to be caught beneath a steam tank's wheels. In addition, unlike chariots, this model treats low linear obstacles as open terrain rather than as impassable terrain. So obviously, just go straight through it. Steam power. A steam tank cannot march. Instead, you may make a steam power roll and add the result to the model's movement. Its movement is 4. To make a steam power roll 2d6 and discard the lowest result. The highest result is the result of the steam power. If both dice roll are the same result, discard either. So you can move 10, basically.
And it's not switched right, and there's no charge. Like, you still charge now and everything normally now, don't you, with this guy? Yep.
Yeah, so it's not as reliable for combat like it used to be, but it is still unbreakable, and you can use it as a good steam. Sorry, not steam. Speed bump. So there is other rules actually. My apologies. Temperamental. So if a natural 1 is rolled on either side of the dice when the steam tank makes a steam power roll or a charge roll, the pressure has reached dangerous levels, and if not quick released, will cause irreparable damage. So you get to choose. Bang, the crew ignores the building pressure and you take a wound, or you release the pressure. The steam tank halts immediately and cannot move again for the remainder of this turn. However, if a natural 1 is rolled on both the dice, the pressure is too great to be released safely. If you roll a double 1, you lose a wound and it halts. If you roll 1 on the 2 dice, you can choose between taking a wound, moving, completing your move, or not moving at all, but not taking the wound.
I do like that it's not as it's just a lot simpler to use this edition. It was always a bit more complex, especially 6. It was ridiculous. So now that's good. Keeps the game flowing a bit faster. But yeah, like you said, we'll see if we see them or not.
So it's like, I think you're going to see them definitely. It's got a steam cannon and a steam gun. The only thing is to remember that you can't use 2 weapons in the shooting phase, and I don't think
that says you can. Yeah, so you got to choose. Yeah, probably.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't say that you can use both. So steam cannon, strength 4, 24-inch range, strength 8, -2 AP, armor vein 2. It's cannon fire, cumbersome, multiple wounds, D3. And then the steam gun is strength 2, breath weapon with no armor. So yeah, but it doesn't say you can't use breath weapons in combat. So situational-ish. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think the steam tank's good. I think the role of the steam tank is more going to be about being unbreakable than anything.
Just sit there. They got to chew through it. I mean, 10 wounds are going to take a bit. What was it save? I didn't even see it. 3 up.
I think it's only 3. Yeah, 3 up now. Yeah. All right. War machines. Look, I think there's one that's garbage out of the 4. There is 2 that are good and 1 that is situational. So cannon, you can upgrade them to be veterans. Don't know why you would bother, but you can. I don't know if there's any veteran rules that benefit shooting, but So cannon, look, it's the same as it's always been, except like it's in the main book. Most people would already know. They're strength 10, but it's only D3 +1 wounds now. Skirmishes, though, so it's -1 to hit them when you're shooting. The mortar is strength 2, AP 2. And is it armor bane 2? No. I think it's just strength 2, AP 2. But it does shoot the 5-inch pie plate. It's one of the only war machines, because it's a 5-inch, that can get automatic hits. Everything, pretty much the 3-inch template only ever gets one automatic hit now. Yeah. It's nearly impossible, unless you scatter in a certain way, to get a 3-inch template on a 25 mil to get 2 automatic hits. You nearly have to get it perfectly over 2 bases. So I think the cannon is good. I think the mortar is situational. The Hellblaster, when paired with an engineer, it's the one I was saying before. Basically, consider the Hellblaster to actually have a points cost of 175, because you're taking an engineer with a Hochland. It's strength 5. It's AP 1 with armor bane 2, cumbersome, and move or shoot. So now the way the Hellblaster works is you roll the artillery dice 3 times. Sorry, as always, roll it 3 times. If you roll a misfire on the artillery dice, then all shots are at -1. It's only if you roll a second misfire, no shots of fire, and a critical fault's occurred, roll immediately on the appropriate misfire table to determine exactly what happened. And if it's on all 3 artillery dice, all of the barrels fire simultaneously with devastating effect. The Hellblaster volley gun fires 30 shots, but is destroyed and immediately removed from play. All shots fired from the Hellblaster volley gun this turn suffer an additional -1 to hit. So it doesn't die like it used to. And paired with an engineer, if you use it in the way the rules are written, means that if you don't roll a misfire, you're actually ballistic skill 4, which means you at long range you're hitting stuff on 5s, and at short range you're hitting stuff on 4s. So I think it has a place, but I think cannon and the Hellblaster are good. I think the mortar is, look, you might take one depending on your build. You're going to have certain lists it's really good against, and certain lists where it does absolutely nothing. The rocket battery is just a waste of time now.
So you got to put 3. You got to scatter 3 templates. Is that right? I was skimming it before. I've never used one, and I don't have one, so I've never ended up using one.
Well, see, I've got a Hellblaster that's built, and then I have another Hellblaster / rocket battery that is new on sprue and in box that I haven't built yet. And reading the rules makes me not bother building it as a rocket battery. So it uses a 3-inch blast template. So it uses a number of 3-inch blast templates. So it's D3. So it could be 1, it could be 3, it could be 2. No line of sight is required, which is handy. You choose an enemy unit that is between its minimum and maximum range, be the target, and place the D3 blast template so that the central hole of each is over the unit. Now, it means you can spread them, so you can get lots. Like you can get,
like you potentially could
hits,
get
basically
similar to a 5-inch pie plate if it didn't if they all scattered the right sort of way.
Unlike every other template weapon, it doesn't say that you have to put it in the center of the unit. It just says place it on the unit.
Yeah, but isn't that in the War Machine section? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. It says no line of sight required. Instead, choose an enemy unit that's between its minimum and maximum range to be target, and place D3 blast template so that the central hole of each is over that unit.
Yeah.
So it looks like this, and I think if you read the I'm pretty sure the unit-specific rules override special rules.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so this overrides.
Yeah, maybe.
So actually, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. I think I'm going to have to try one out. So you scatter. Once each template has been placed, it will scatter, roll an artillery dice and a scatter dice for each template. If a misfire is rolled on the artillery dice, the rocket has failed to launch. Once all shots fired from this weapon have been resolved, you roll on for each misfire.
Minus.
Roll for a misfire table. If a hit is rolled on the scatter dice, use the small arrow above the hit symbol to determine the direction of the scatter and move the template a number of inches equal to the roll of the artillery dice minus the crew's ballistic skill. If an arrow is rolled, then you move it number of inches equal to the roll. Damage. Any model whose base lies underneath the template risk being hit by this weapon. So follows the normal template rules then. Problem is, mate, it's only strength 3, AP 1.
I know.
See, if it was like strength 5, AP 1, armor bane 1, then maybe I'm going, okay. But
no, they've nerfed a lot of this stuff. And I haven't even seen hell. I've never played against one. So, and 8th, they were no good either. So, because they were new in 8th, weren't they? Because I don't think that was...
Hellstorms came out in 7th edition.
Play 7th. Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
edition.
Model a 7th edition model then? You know, the plastic one? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, look, that's the Empire book. Time will tell to see where it fits. I think there's definitely some good builds you can do. I think a lot of them revolve around, core being archers and knights. Potentially some crossbowmen. I think greatswords and pistoliers you're not going to see much. I think outriders you'll see lots of. I think some people will still take war machines. I'm writing lists without them at all. Maybe one cannon. You pair it with a dragon bow. Maybe you can actually deal with some of those big monsters. But I think flagellants are really good, and I think the Griffin characters are really good.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, I saw your list that you were doing. Was that Castle you sent me that one? Was that a 2K list you sent me? I think so.
Well, I'm using it at a tournament. If anyone in Brisbane is interested to going to, there's a couple of events coming up in Brisbane. There's actually a couple all around the country. If you head on to the Old World Tournaments Australia Facebook page, that's sort of a collaborative of tournament organisers across the country. There's tournaments currently being scheduled, that are currently scheduled in South Australia, Queensland, the ACT, New South Wales, and there's none in Victoria yet, which is interesting. Haven't seen any battalion. And I don't know if like Perth. I think they just play 40K.
I'm gonna get. We're gonna probably add a quick tournament section to the Monday podcast and and I'll just use that as the guide, just for the locals. Just to make sure that keeps getting hounded out. At least the ones that are coming up within, whatever, I don't know, 4 months or something. You know what I mean? Just so we make sure people know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually think I can't remember if the first Australian tournament is in Canberra. I can't remember if it's before or after King of the Hill. So King of the Hill is run by Daniel Stark in Kingaroy in Queensland. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from Brisbane. It's a really, really awesome day. He's got an acreage property and he built like every guy's dream, which is like he can actually host 30 players. So he can hold 15 tables in this room. And it actually used to be out in his patio, big patio, big house. But yeah, he's now built this...
that years ago, maybe. Was he been playing for ages?
Yeah. So it used to be called Patio Slaughter. He's played since 5th edition. But it's now called. He's called this Return of the King in reference to the Old World coming back. He also runs a tournament on his birthday every year called Birthday Slaughter. And basically you can camp at his house on the Friday and the Saturday night for that. The first year was for his 40th birthday. There was a pig on the spit. It was great. But that's a one-day tournament, 3 games. So I'm aiming to have the list I sent you built for that, which I'll quickly run through it if you like.
Yeah, let's run through it, and then gives us another 10 minutes, and then we'll close it out. Probably that sounds good. Because then you can sort of talk through the bits out of that we just talked about. Yeah, you're right. That's that 23rd of March, and then there's where is that? That must be in Canberra's on the 13th of April. Coming up.
Yeah. I know 25th of April. It's the last Saturday of April. Sorry, not April, March. Oh, you're talking about
the other one. There's a narrative Old World event, Field of Roses. Is that in Canberra or is that a different one?
Yeah, I think that's in Canberra. And then there's also one in the 23rd of April in Brisbane as well.
Ipswich, Brutal Deluxe, 27th of April.
Yeah, Brutal Deluxe. That's run by Jim Humphreys, or Jimbo, as anyone that's from 6th, 7th edition on Wargamer AU would remember the greatest troll of all time, aka Jimbo, the most banned man from Wargamer AU in history. All right, so my list, I have a general of the Empire. He's my general. He has a shield, griffin. I'll leave the griffin to last. Shield, full plate armor, sword of justice, laurels of victory, brace of pistols on a griffin. So the baby griffin, not the big griffin. So just to run through again what he does: 3 up armor save. Sword of justice is the AP1, strength of user. AP1, armor bane 1, multiple wounds 2, but you can reroll failed rolls to wound. Laurels of victory doubles the wounds he causes for combat res. Brace of pistols is handy. If he gets charged by something, I can stand and shoot with pistols as long as I'm outside the movement range. But if I get behind, I can run around and shoot if I'm not charging. And that's my general. Then I've got another general of the Empire. This guy I was talking about before. So shield, Bard of Warhorse, lance, full plate armor, dragon bow, ruby ring of ruin, with a brace of pistols as well. So I've already spoken about him earlier. Very versatile. He's a flank holder. Then I've got a priest of Sigmar, who's just got shield, heavy armor, and great weapon, cheap and cheerful. Then I've got Wizard Lord, Imperial Griffin, level 4 on illusion with Mace of Hellstrom, Lore Familiar. It's the Spectral Doppelganger. Nasty, pick my spells, so I'm picking that and picking 3 others that I like.
Gone after a monster.
He's basically, he's my cannibal. So I've got 2 griffins. Then I've got 2 units of Empire Knights, both 6 with a musician and champion, both stubborn with shields and lance. I've also got 3 units of archers with scouts. And to round out my core tax, I have 12 crossbows with a musician. I then have 2 units of 4 outriders with a musician, and I have 24 flagellants with a champion.
Did I miss that? Did you have a warrior priest? Oh, you did.
Yeah. So what warrior priest? Warrior priest on foot.
Flagellants. Yeah, cool. Okay. Yep.
And the reason I've only taken heavy armor and a shield is, to be honest, he's only there for the 5-up ward save when they're going in.
Okay. Yep.
If he dies, he's 69 points. If you want to direct attacks towards him and not towards the unit that is unbreakable, he's only unbreakable while he's with them.
Yep.
So if you don't do that, then I'm getting the prayer and potentially getting reroll ones, or I can even soulfire depending on what you are. But yeah, so that's the list. It's probably a little bit different to, I think, most Empire lists. It
no
basically
war machines, no demis. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, no demis, no war machines, no Inner Circle Knights. I've spent under 550 points on special and rare combined. But I've spent nearly 1,000 points. I think I spent 995 points on characters. With 521 points on core. It's basically what I like to call block SU. It's the list style that I play with vampire counts. This style of list, you basically have one block that is unbreakable. Obviously, vampires,
technically all are.
It's easy because everything is. Yep. And then everything else plays around it and is MSU and mobile. And so that's literally what it is. So, if you look at it, if I'm probably going to run the Outriders as skirmishers 9 times out of 10. So I've got 5 units of skirmishers, 2 of those Vanguard, 3 of those Scout that also can Vanguard if I don't scout them. I've got 1 unit of 12 crossbows, which are, that's the only other static thing in the list. And then I've got a character that has a 360-degree line of sight with, that's most of the time going to be out of your dispel range. With a ruby ring, and he has a dragon bow and pistols, and he can charge a unit of fast cabin and probably kill them too. And then the 2 griffins. So
it's good.
Yeah, that's
cool.
the list.
It's going to be good. Have you had a chance to play that one yet? Because you've been playing smaller games, did you? Or no. Yeah.
So far I've played 2,000 point games on the first week. after getting the books, and then one 2,000 point game. So played a couple of guys down the local club. Actually, shout out to the club. So if you are in Brisbane and you live probably on the north side, so there's a club that tacks on to Northern Alliance 40K club. To be honest, a lot of guys aren't enjoying 10th edition, and a bunch of them now playing Old World as well. Most of the time, we got somewhere between 4 and 8 tables. There's a Discord. Reach out to me, Angus Sturt Bray, on Facebook, and I can introduce you, get you involved. Basically, it's at the Warner Community Centre. If you know where the GYG and McDonald's are, at the Warner Shopping Centre or Community Village. It's there. It's 5 to 11 o'clock every Friday. Your first week is free, and from then on, it is $5 the week that you go. If you don't go, obviously you don't pay. You can also take a few beers. So I take a little esky with me now. It's 2 minutes from my house. It's very convenient with a newborn, because it means I can sneak down there, and if Jess needs me, I can drive home.
Back. Sounds good. Awesome. Oh, well, thanks for that, ASP. That was really good, man. That's picked up a few nuggets there, and now have to go. And it's so annoying. Every time I do one of these, especially the armies I have, I want to go and play that army, which is very annoying. But anyway, I think that's what it's like with Old World at the moment. Cool. It's not good when you got. I think I swear I have what's it called, attention deficit disorder. I must have, because I just, at least hobby ADD.
I do.
Just got two kegs.
I definitely do.
Keep changing. Anyway, it's all good. Hey, bit of a long one, but I think that was worth it. And they're a good army to talk through. They're pretty generic, so they're good at, like I said, they got magic, they got combat, they got shooting, they got whatever. So you can play them how you want. So
Jack of all trades,
they are.
Master
of none. Okay, cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed one of our other faction reviews. We'll probably have you on a bunch over the next few months, and I'll put those links in the show notes as well. Not show notes, the bloody YouTube description, whatever the hell it's called. Anything else you want to close out with, ASP, or I'll let you get back to it? Get back to your evening.
No, mate.
Cheers,
Thanks for having me.
Okay. See you guys.